Get ready, get God. Welcome to another exciting episode of And Why Not, the most intelligent white noise here on YouTube, where if you're doing chores around the house or need something to listen to while you are at work, or if you're looking to get involved possibly into any of the discussion on the topics covered, well, this is the place to come to. In this live stream, I take full advantage of the First Amendment, my freedom of thought and speech, so long as if I do not violate the extremely silly guidelines of this current platform. This is episode number 101, and today's date is Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2023. And my daughter is very, very, very happy about that, because tomorrow is Christmas and she'll be able to do what? Open their presents, right? Yep. She was counting for the whole month. Day one of this month, she started counting. Like, oh, we got 30-something days, 20-something days left. So anyway, as with the previous channel got canceled and deleted. But just in case this channel happens to go through the same route and gets banned, and I get banned from YouTube because of the communists that run this platform, you can check me out on my Rumble account, or you can check me out on my Odyssey account. The links to both of those should be in the description. And yeah, so check those out just in case something happens to this channel. What else we got? And also, for those of you who are inquiring about the 12 series, well, as for those of you who are just now coming in, you probably missed the countdown, but in the countdown prior to the show starting, we had displayed an image that will be seen in the final episode that's coming up. So you see Jesus, and behind him are two angels with holding staffs and stuff like that. So I'm not going to give you the full context, but for those who are Bible believers and students of the Word, you probably have an idea of what's happening in that shot there. So anyway, but as far as the episode, I'm still working on it. I really wanted this particular month, December of 2023, to be the year that I finally finished this episode. But it looks like obviously that's not going to happen. We're like 5 days left or 6 days left before the end of this month. And I'm not even done with scene 5 yet. So obviously the question is, when am I going to be done with this episode? I honestly couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. I suspect that I'll have it done before the election of next year. In fact, I must have it done before then, because, and I'm going to open up the room so we can talk about anything. But one of the things that, that I fear most is not being able to finish this episode before this world goes to crap. Because let's face it, folks, the left, the Democrats, and the deep state, the powers that be, they hate Trump so much that they'll do anything to stop him from becoming the next president. Because right now, he would win. If they would hold the elections right now, he would win by a landslide. He would win by a landslide. There was absolutely no doubt about that. He would win by a landslide. Okay. Biden, I don't think any other Democrat, especially no other Republicans, but no other Democrat has a snowball's chance in hell to win against Trump right now, because he's winning a lot of Democrats to his side too. Okay. But anyway, I'm not here. Well, we could talk about politics if we want, but the reason why I'm bringing that up is because if Trump does not win this next election, which I highly believe that will probably be the case, then we're going to be looking at a complete reversal of the American way on the part of the Democrats and the deep state, which could mean that, you know, certain freedoms that we take for granted here will be destroyed. They will be diminished. And one of them being putting out content like this cartoon that I'm doing right now. Because I do, in this cartoon, I do speak against the LGBTQ community. Okay, I teach against, other things here that might go against the grain, if you will. And in a communist world, a cartoon like this would not last, would not survive. So I want to do all that I can to take advantage of the freedom that we have now. Hurry up and get this episode done so that you guys can enjoy it, those who are fans of this series. And before the fit hits the shan. Okay, let me just put it that way. So Saints, as I do with every episode that I release, I ask that you put it in prayer. You know, pray that this episode gets completed before the new world order gets activated and set, because I believe that it is coming. So that's that. And along with that, in case you guys are interested, again, no pressure. You know, in fact, it's Christmas, so you're probably already halfway broke right now because you spent a lot of time buying gifts for your family, friends, and loved ones. But just in case, you know, it's a little bit too late to order these now, but in case you're interested in the future, I do still have a spring. Was it T.com? Spring? It used to be called Teespring.com. I think it's called Spring now. But I do still have a Spring account where you can buy shirts for the cartoon series. So I got two types of shirts there. I got shirts that promote the cartoon series, and then I got some other shirts there that are just your basic Jesus shirts. They're shirts with just the name Jesus on it. You know, the neck gaiters, t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies, all those kinds of things. So all right, so I don't like to, you know, do less kind of promotion and stuff like that. So, but in case you guys are interested. So, but anyway, so why am I doing this live stream today? Well, you know, I got a few days off because of the holidays and stuff, and I haven't done a live stream in a long time. So I'm probably going to open up the room very early because I don't really have anything prepared to talk about. I do have some things, so in case you don't want to come in, you just need some white noise for whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're, you know, doing some sort of chore, whatever, and you just need to hear something in the background. You'll probably flip back and forth, lurking from video to stream to stream. So if that's the case, since that is the case, I don't expect many people to come in because it's a holiday. People are busy with friends and family. I do have a couple of topics that I do want to talk about today. So before I get started, let me just recognize people on the side chat, and then I'll probably get this show on the road. All right, let's see. So we got a couple people popped in earlier. Christian Carpenter, Merry Christmas. How you doing? Brother Kevin, what's going on, Kevin? Good to see you. Oh yeah, I know. I understand that Kevin, you and Ryan, the Presbyterian, were supposed to have a debate. I don't know if I missed it or you guys postponed it for a later time. I'm not sure. But if you're still listening, Kevin, you can put it on a side chat about when you're, if that debate's still happening, or if it already happened, or if it's been canceled. You know, just let a brother know. Saint Gotham, hey, hey, how you doing, brother, sister, or whatever you are, however you want to be identified, I guess. Oh, there's Kevin. So Kevin says Ryan got scared again. I don't buy it. He probably canceled it, but I don't think it was because he was scared. But Who knows? Who knows? Hopefully that'll still go on in the future. Shakaris, what's happening, baby? Hey, you got the icon of Spider-Man there in your avatar there, and I just want to say that I just finished last night. I finished playing Spider-Man 2 for the PS5, and let me tell you something, man. I really, really enjoyed that game, man. I really did. I enjoyed it so much. I immediately after I beat the game, I sent a couple of friends. I sent a couple of texts to people talking about how awesome I thought the game was, or the game is, how much fun I had. I mean, to me, I would say it was probably hands down one of the most fun games I've played in a long time, if not ever. I mean, the game was just absolutely so much fun. It was action packed. I mean, I thought the writing was fantastic. The gameplay is fantastic. The story, the acting, the action, the superhero essence in the thing. I mean, you really feel like you're watching a superhero movie. I mean, I haven't had this much fun with anything superhero, any type of superhero entertainment, whether it's a film or a TV show, since Endgame. And this film here, I mean, the game, see, I'm calling it a film. This game here, I mean, wow. I highly recommend it, man. Especially if you're a Spider-Man fan. I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan. I like Spider-Man. Never had an issue with him. But he was not at the top of my list of favorite superheroes. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. I have all three of these games: the Spider-Man 1, the Spider-Man Miles Morales, and this third edition, the third installment to the Spider-Man series, which is Spider-Man 2. And I love all three of the games. They're all fun to me. Now, a couple of criticisms I have, and they're not many. A couple of criticisms I have with this game is for example, I'm a big fan of stealth modes and stealth games. So I like Metal Gear Solid and some of the Batman, some aspects of the Batman game. You have to do stealth missions and stuff where you have to stay in the shadows and try to take out these guards one by one quietly. I like that kind of stuff. I don't know why. I just get a kick out of that stuff. And you got to do a lot of that in Spider-Man 1 and in the Miles Morales game. And you get to do it in this game too. However, not as much. And I was just like, hey, come on, man. In the other game, we had tons of stealth missions. Tons of them. And you couldn't, they just didn't have enough of them there. However, I think they supplement that with the massive map here, because the map here is a lot bigger. So you're still in New York City. The swinging is always fantastic. And again, I'm from New York City originally. So it's always fun to see these very, very familiar parts of New York City looking almost exactly the way it does in real life. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. I feel like I'm there, like I'm back there again. This is amazing. And there's even, because the previous map, you weren't allowed to go to Brooklyn. You couldn't, the map would stop at the edge of Manhattan, but you couldn't go to Brooklyn. Now you can go to Brooklyn, but you can't go to the part of Brooklyn that I'm from. I was like, no, because once you swing over a little bit further, you come to this invisible wall and it says, can't go any further. The game will pause and then you get this message that says you can't go any further. So then it makes you turn around and swinging in the other direction you just came from. I was like, no. Yeah. Oh, man. But this was an absolute fun game. Man, my goodness. I love this game. I love this game. I highly recommend it. If you have a PS5, this is should be one of the first games you get. And yeah. So had a lot of fun. And even the way it ends with the as with all more Marvel films, there's always an end credits scene. There's two of them in this game, and they're both interesting. Both interesting. There's a lot of heart in this game. You really, I'm gonna tell you something else. One of the things I really like about this game is the story. The fact that Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and Miles Morales, these guys are true good guys. Okay, they make mistakes just like everybody else, but their heart for serving people, for doing the right thing, no matter how corny it may sound to us today in 2023, it's still there. It's still being purported. And I love that. I love that we still have this idea, this concept being expressed in cartoons and in comic books, that good guys still they follow the rules, they obey the law, they try to do good for people and unto people, you know, and they try to be honest. And I like that. I like that that mindset, the ideology is not totally diminished from society yet. And I like that. It's a breath of fresh air to still see that, because now everywhere we turn, we see superheroes who are just kind of, you know, they're almost an anti-hero. You know, they want to be loners. You know, I work alone. You know, or why should I really care about doing this person? And then something all of a sudden they get a change of heart and stuff like that. You know, we're kind of getting tired of that type of good guy. You know, I want to go back to the old ways, the old good guy, the good old fashioned Boy Scout type of stuff. And I'm not saying that that's all that I want, but it is good to get back into that every once in a while. And I see that. That's one of the reasons why I like Captain America, why I like Superman, why I like Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and Miles Morales. Because they're Boy Scouts. These are real good guys, real superheroes, real good guys. People who you know, regular citizens of New York could trust and look up to. You know, and you know, average human beings obviously going to know that they're not perfect. You know, in fact, one of the lines in the game that says that one of the issues of being a superhero is that you have to make hard decisions. And then they go into detail, you know, about saving one person versus 1,000 people, you know, kind of thing. That topic is brought up in the game too. So this is a really fun game. I want to play it again. But as you guys know, I'm trying to finish this episode. Trying to get this episode done. I want to get it done in a timely fashion. I want to get it done before the Antichrist comes. And I can't do that if I'm constantly playing other games all the time. So, but I just got the PS5 maybe a week and a half ago, and I held out, man, for as long as I could, man. This box that wasn't open, just looking at me for 2 weeks, and I'm just like, one of these days I'm going to open up this game. I'm going to open up this box, and I'm going to play the game because I know the Spider-Man game is in there. And finally, one day, I just like, I just went full crackhead and opened up the box and set it up, just started playing, and yeah. Well, that's the other bad thing about this game too. It felt really a lot easier than the previous games too. So it took me about maybe 20-something hours to beat it. So I did lose some sleep on some days, that's for sure. So, but now that I beat it, I'm back to normal. I can take my time if I play it again. You know, I already know the story. But anyway, let me go back to the side chats here so we can get to some other things here. All right, let's see. Yeah. So Kevin says, talking about Ryan, he said, that boy is shaking in his shoes. Well, I'll have to talk to Ryan and find out what happened. So we'll hear his side of the story. But I am disappointed. He said, Ed's brother. Oh, brother. Oh, okay. So St. Gotham. I was saying, I didn't know if you were a boy or girl. You know, you never know how people want to be identified these days. So I'll refer to you as brother. Right. Kevin says, I want to play that game. I have a PS4. Yeah, I think unfortunately it's only built for the PS5 because of the power that it requires. So But other than that, man, to me, the graphics look pretty much the same to me. So I think the only unique difference is the amount of power that this game requires to play. Probably is not provided by the PS4. So, but other than that, this is a great game, man. It's very fun. It's a lot of fun, a lot of action. I mean, especially for movie lovers like myself, who like all kinds of film. And I also like superhero films as well. I don't want superhero films to stop. I don't have superhero film fatigue. What I do have is mediocre superhero film fatigue. That's what I have. And that I can give thanks to good old-fashioned Disney. Don't get me started talking about Disney. I could talk, as a matter of fact, since nobody's going to come in, I could probably talk about that too. Don't get me started talking about Disney. Disney is in all kinds of trouble, man. And you know what? Good. They actually deserve it for all the ideology that they've been trying to shove down our throats. The transgender garbage, the homosexual, the LGBTQ garbage, the black garbage, the female garbage, all this woke garbage that they're trying to shove down our throat. Instead of making a good story, they rather want to shove down their DEI ideology down our throats, despite the fact that we don't want that. They don't care that we don't want that. In fact, even though their movies have, their last 5 films have flopped, they're still doubling down. They are still doubling down, folks. They don't care. And I would like to talk about that with somebody who's more knowledgeable in this area than myself, because I have a suspicion as to why they're doing this, despite the fact that they're losing money, despite that they keep flopping. I mean, let me tell you something, man. They have 2 films that came out this year. Two films that came out this year that cost them $300 million for production. Okay, that's including, and when I say $300 million, I'm not talking about just for the set. I'm talking about also that includes marketing. You know, making posters, putting out trailers, doing press release, and all this other stuff. Any type of promotion that goes to pointing towards this movie costs money. That could cost millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay. So Disney spends about maybe $330 million for the Indiana Jones film that just came out this year, Indiana Jones 5. Did you guys hear about that movie, by the way? You're probably not. You know why? It's because the movie sucked. That's why. The movie sucked. Put your headphones on, Bose. Put your headphones on. Or take the phone. Take the phone away. Okay. But anyway, that's why if you haven't heard about the movie, I understand. It's because the movie sucked. It was terrible. It was terrible. Okay, $330 million down the drain. They didn't even make a profit. They didn't even break even. Forget about making a profit. They didn't even break even. They're still in the hole. And also the same thing with the Marvel's film that just came out last month. What was it, November 9th? November 10th? That was in the hole too. Did it break even? I don't know. Well, the first week it bombed. I mean, dude, it did. It did as a matter of fact, the movie was so bad it actually broke an historical record. And I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. It broke an historical record. Let me get the image on the screen for you guys, just in case, because I know some of you guys are not Marvel or movie fans like I am, but at least you guys have some sort of idea of what I'm talking about here. Let me get this on the screen. So here's the Marvels. Here's some pictures of it, and I'm talking to some of my friends about what could have been done to make this movie better. I don't know what could have been done to make this movie better. Now, of course, the leftards are immediately going to assert, oh, well, the reason the movie didn't do that well is because it's too many misogynist people rejecting the film. Really? Now, wait a minute. Now, the moment you hear some retard say something like that, here should be your immediate response. Your immediate response should be, wait a minute. So why did the movie flop then? If so many misogynist people didn't want to see it, why? If the misogynist people are all the bad guys who didn't want to see this movie, well, where were all the good guys who support this kind of thing? Why didn't they come to see this movie? Where were all the woke cards during the production of this movie, during the release of this movie? How come they didn't come to see this movie? But see, that's all they do is blame others for their own failures. And that's what Disney's been doing for the past year. In fact, it's even escalated now since this movie has bombed. Bob Iger himself, who is the CEO of Disney, and hopefully he'll be gone soon. I mean, that guy just needs to leave. Dude's a little weak in the wrist, if you know what I mean, with regards to the production that he's been putting out. Bowing the knee to the woke. Shouldn't be doing that. But he's going to keep doubling down. Same thing with Kevin Feige. Everybody's sweating Kevin Feige. I used to be one of those guys sweating Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige is the CEO of the Marvel department in Disney. And because of the success of the movies out of phases 1, 2, and 3 in the MCU, we're talking about the Iron Man films, the Captain America films, the Avengers films, all those were under phases 1, 2, and 3, and under Kevin Feige. And because they were all such a success, everybody's looking at Kevin Feige and saying, oh man, Kevin Feige, he's the man with the master plan. I have a different opinion about that now, because I was actually one of those people on that bandwagon. Why? Well, I wasn't trying to jump on the bandwagon. I actually believe that. I actually believe that Kevin Feige was this smart of an individual, that he knew what he was doing. This is the guy we need to follow in order to know how to make good movies. But I no longer hold that position now based off of what we've seen in phases 4 and now in phase 5. I think the man was just flat out lucky. That's all. The reason why I say that is because even before phase 4 was greenlit, he started talking about how he's going to have a more female-focused, female-based Avengers or MCU, which we now call the MCU, which was coined by Gary Beekler of Nerdronic, the YouTube channel. Check him out. Subscribe to the channel. Tell him that Veco sent you. The MCU, not the MCU, the MCU. She as in chick. Why? Because that's what the MCU wants to focus now. So says Kevin Feige. He wants to make a more female-dominated Marvel universe now. So he kills off all the male characters, the predominant male characters like, Captain America, Iron Man, maybe even Spider-Man. I presume Spider-Man will make an appearance here and there. But the focus is going to be more on female characters. Now, here's the worst part about that. Okay? There's two bad things about this female-focused garbage that he wants to go through. Number one, it's going to be focusing on ideology more so than storytelling. That's going to be the problem. And that's what we call a woke film. Okay? That's going to fail. We've seen it happen over and over again with other films. It's going to fail. Why? Because you're more focused on a female being in the lead rather than telling a good story. That's another problem. Okay. The second problem is my damn straight says Dyke first. Oh my god. He said Dyke first. Oh god. He said, oh, that was messed up. Sorry, I'm in the mood. I hear you, man. We all go through those days. Yeah. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we could talk about that too, because there was rumor that Captain Marvel was going to have some sort of romantic relationship with Valkyrie, who was from the Thor films. And That's probably one of the reasons why the movie got reshot, is because they took that out. But it's kind of hinted there if you watch the movie. You know, they hold hands and she's getting lectured by Valkyrie about you just need to be you, or some other, you know, secular garbage. But anyway, the other reason why these female focused films don't work, superhero films don't work, is because a lot of times these characters that they're picking are not characters that are very familiar with fans. Nobody knows who this black chick is, right? Nobody knows who that is. We don't even know her proper name. We don't know if it's Futon or something. We don't know her name. We just keep calling her Monica Rambeau. What a boring superhero name that is. Okay? And she's not wearing a mask. Neither is Captain Miss Marvel. She's not wearing a mask. Captain Marvel's not wearing a mask. Okay? None of these characters were popular. Now, their personalities might be interesting in the comic books, but they were never successful in the comic book world. Miss Marvel, the Pakistani, you know, and she's played by Iman Vellani, by the way, who is a delightful young woman. She seems like she is so cool, and she's so adorable. And she's a comic book geek too. She's a comic book nerd too. She knows her stuff, and she probably won't say it because she's in the freaking movie herself. But she probably knows that this movie is terrible too. She probably agrees. But you can't blame her for this terrible job that the director has done and Kevin Feige has decided to greenlight. Nobody knows about this character, Miss Marvel. She had several comics and they failed every time. She died. That comic issue failed. Nobody cared. Nobody even knew that she died, except Spider-Man. And then when she came back, nobody cared. Same thing with Captain Marvel. She died, and then she came back. Nobody cared. Nobody even noticed that she was gone, and then came back. These comics are failing. These comics do not sell. They do not sell. They just don't. And I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. So anyway, that's the problem with Disney. They're going to continue to double down. In fact, they have this other thing called The Acolyte. The Acolyte, which is a Star Wars movie, I think it is. And that's going to be also entirely female-oriented. But it's going to be far worse than the Marvels from what I'm understanding. I mean, they're going for ultra woke with it. I mean, they're even going the route of having lesbians be in this movie. All right. Did you hear what I said? They're going to have lesbians in this movie. They're going to have lesbian Jedi. Lesbian Jedi. That's what this show is going to be about. It's going to be lesbians in space. That's what it's going to be. And it ain't going to be about fighting against the dark side. It's going to be fighting against the white man. That's probably what it's going to be. And everybody on the dark side is going to be a white dude. And one girl's going to fall in love with another girl, and you know, oh yeah, that's something that you want to take your whole family to see on Christmas in the month of December. Yeah, right. But anyway, this is their new thing that they want to come out with. Compliments of the evil, wicked witch of the West, Kathleen Kennedy, who is now the current CEO of Lucasfilm and solely responsible for all the garbage that's been coming out of Lucasfilm, out of that studio. Yep, she's responsible for the Indiana 5 movie that had a major bomb. She's responsible for the bomb of The Mandalorian season 3, which absolutely tanked. And now she wants to do a female-centered, racially diverse Star Wars movie. Now, personally, I don't have a problem with there being racial diversity in film. I like to see more diversity amongst the races in films, okay? But that can't be the focus. It can't be the focus. We have to tell a good story first, okay? You have to have a good story that can be played by anybody, and you just happen to have the best person who did the best at the audition just happens to be a person of color, an Asian person, a black person, Hispanic, whatever. So what we're gonna do is when this atrocity comes out, we're probably gonna see some lesbianism. You know, there probably won't be any women kissing each other or anything like that, but it'll be hinted, or it'll be really in your face where they're holding hands, or one is rescuing another. You know, the men are going to be made to look like bad guys, those kinds of things. That's what we should expect. And Daniel says each other to death. Watch. Oh, gosh, there's no problem with diversity. It just has to make sense, as if all these different aliens are. Yes, thank you for pointing that out, Dan. We saw all kinds of diversity in the previous Star Wars films, right? Okay, there was a black dude. We had Billy D. Williams playing the character in Lando Calrissian. Okay, we had a couple other black characters there. They weren't many. Okay, we had obviously Samuel Jackson as the Jedi named Samuel Jackson. No, excuse me, Mace Windu. And I'm sorry, that wasn't a slip of the tongue, by the way. I meant to say Samuel Jackson because while I do like him as an actor, my problem with him is that he plays almost the same type of character in every movie he's in. And I like to see more range. Anyway, so this is what we got to look for with these films. And again, I'm bringing this up because I think there's something going on in our universe, and I think theologically we can kind of connect the dots, at least theologically. What do I mean by that? Well, it seems to me that everything that's coming out of Hollywood is getting worse in quality. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. The story writing is getting terrible. It's getting lazy. The editing is getting lazy. The action is getting lazy. We got actors who are becoming more and more bold in their political views, no matter how much it offends people, knowing full well that it's going to cost them. It's going to cost them box office wise. Yet they don't care. And the studios don't care either. And even though they keep coming up with flop after flop after flop after flop after flop, they still keep doubling down. They still want to double down. And that tells me that we're in the middle of, well, we're experiencing a transition where things are going from terrible to worse. That's what I think. It feels like this world is falling apart. I mean, politically speaking, in almost every way, this world is falling apart. I mean, we could talk about all kinds of things, but this is one of them. You know, coming from a cinematic view, a person who likes film, I see definitely Hollywood is getting worse. These films that they're putting out are getting worse. And I'm not talking about the content, like meaning that it's pornographic, because obviously that's always been the case with Hollywood. They've always put out rated R and XXX, NC-17 type of stuff out there. But I'm just talking about as far as the quality of the content. The quality of the content is just getting terrible. Like, people just don't even care about making a good film anymore. And I'm beginning to wonder if it's not so much an issue of them not caring, but if they're even capable, if they're even able to make a good film. Because it's always been my philosophy that Pure evil cannot do anything but destroy or taint or pervert. Or that's all it can do. And that's what we see permeating throughout Hollywood. I'm not saying Hollywood has always been, perfect. In fact, I don't think that's ever been the case with Hollywood. But at least you always got some gems that came out of Hollywood. Where you have some films that made people feel good about themselves and encourage people to do good things onto other people. But now you got nothing but all these films that are ideology oriented, where it's more focused on looking at white people and wagging the fingers at white people and making them look like they're the villains and that they need to do better. And as a black man, I'm actually quite sick of it. But anyway, that's enough of that. I mean, maybe I'll save that conversation to a more bigger extent at another time. So we can definitely talk more about the acolyte and other things like that in the future. So let me see here. I had a couple videos that I want to look at. As a matter of fact, let me do this. I don't want to get in trouble for this, but I want to show a video of. I don't follow the Doctor Who series. I've never watched a single episode, but from what I've understand, just recently, over the years, they've had to have different actors play Doctor Who, and they just recently had a new person to play Doctor Who. And so I'm going to show you this video, this trailer. I don't know what kind of trouble I'm going to get into regarding this channel, but just give me a second here. Let me screen share it. I'm probably going to have to turn the audio down so that you guys let's see here. Okay, so forgive the quality. The quality looks really terrible right now, but let me go ahead and play the video. I'm not going to put the sound in it, but here's Doctor Who. Oh gosh, it's terrible. Okay, see that black dude? As a matter of fact, let me see if I can loop it. Okay, see that black guy? He's the new Doctor Who. Okay, and he is black and he gay. He's black and he gay. So the Doctor Who now, the new Doctor Who is black and gay. And this is what the studios are doing now. This is what Hollywood's doing now. The DEI, you guys heard me say that a couple of times. DEI is an acronym for diversity, equity, inclusion. It's some sort of system that is being put forth unto almost every company, every existing company, which is basically affirmative action. So companies are forced to put people of color in particular roles, even though they are not worthy of the role, even though they do not fit the story. There has to be in some sort of room for a black person, an Asian person, a gay person, a transgender of some sort in any production. And to hell with the story, to hell with good quality content. We must appeal to this affirmative action type of thing put out by the DEI. diversity, equity, inclusion, garbage system that's out. And so now this is why we have Doctor Who is gay. He black and gay. He black and gay. You know, now somebody's gonna see this, they hear me say this, and say, you know, Veku, see, this is why we ought to take away your black card, man. Because you're just over here hating niggers. Why are you over here hating black people? I don't hate black people. I don't. How many times do I have to say this? Okay? But I call things out that need to be called out. That most conservatives are too afraid to call out, unfortunately. So, anyway, let me just stop that. Let me stop that. So that's the new Doctor Who, folks. He black and gay. He's black and gay. That's all I can say. I really don't have much to say about the Doctor Who series. Again, I've never watched any of the series. I do know that every once in a while they'll go through a new actor to play the same character, and they have some sort of scientific or magical explanation as to why they look different. So now we got this new African dude. His last name is Gatwa, so I don't know, and he's gay too. He's flamboyant, from what I understand. So at least it's not that Eric Porter or whatever his name is. Oh gosh. Anyway, let me put the link out there. I got some other stuff I want to share. We'll put the link out. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be up, but put this out there. Okay, so I am going to. We're also going to look at some other stuff as well. Okay, so there's the link. All right. Get this stupid. How do I get this? Anyway. All right, let me stop that. But anyway. What else I wanted to look at? Oh, all right. I had some other videos. Let me see. Let's see. Yes. I actually want to give shout out to my boy Nate the Lawyer. And I like his channels too. He covers some really, really interesting stuff too. So we're going to look at some of the stuff he says about this particular this particular article about this black mayor. But first, we got to do our little stinger here before we get started, because I already know what's going to happen. People are going to try to revoke my black card. So with that said, let's start our segment of help me get my black card back. All right. So we got a video that I want to share. It's by Nate the Lawyer, and it's about this black mayor who is acting like a pure dictator. And this woman is arrogant as hell. Oh gosh, she's just a mean person, man. Just a mean person. But anyway, here we go. I'm gonna play the video, turn the music down, and let you guys hear it for yourself, straight from the horse's mouth. I mean, this is just terrible. And it feels like you're in a situation where you really can't even do anything about this type of person. But here we go. Let's get it up. Let's start the video. Here we go.
About Tiffany A. Hinyard, super mayor, who is, for lack of a better word, corrupt.
I handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas?
Yeah, you got caught. You're lying.
What is that?
No comment.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
Tiffany Henyard certainly isn't shy about attracting attention. Here she is starting a Dalton Village board meeting dressed like the Wesley Snipes character in the movie New Jack City. Later punctuating her political points with the help of her own DJ.
Every single resident. Pay me what you owe me. Thank you, DJ.
After a Fox 32 investigation found this registered child sex offender on the public payroll.
A sex offender, you don't give them lunch to go into different people's homes.
46-year-old Lavelle Redmond is close friends with Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who in September hired Redmond as a code enforcement officer without the village board's approval. Redmond served 25 years in prison for the brutal gang rape and beating of 2 young teenage girls in the 1990s and was arrested and charged after our first story aired for violating the reporting requirements of the sex offender registry. Fox 32 has also obtained this cell phone video showing Redmond interacting with the mayor and little children at a back-to-school event in Dalton. Notice the badge on his waist.
Now, we're just 2 minutes into this video, and you see the level of corruption that we are dealing with. It is freaking insane. And I haven't even got to the new stuff yet. That's just the old stuff. That was just like literally a highlight reel of some of the old stuff. So for those of you who are new to the channel, those of you who are new to this story, let me introduce you to Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Now, first, we start in 2016. This is Tiffany A. Henyard, the super mayor. This is Chicago Police Department's official website for people they've arrested. And we can see Miss Henyard was arrested on July 20th, 2016, and was bonded out with a $1,500 bond. She was arrested for criminal trespass in the vehicle, which is essentially a misdemeanor for breaking into cars. Now, this is 4 years before the super mayor became the super mayor.
The new mayor says she has big plans for the village of Dalton. She wants to boost the economy and curb crime.
Are you ready to take your oath?
Tonight, Dalton's new mayor, Tiffany Henyard, sworn in.
Dalton residents, I am reporting for duty.
Henyard now.
All right, let me stop right there. So, welcome to the room, Dan.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Vic.
Merry Christmas. Isn't this pathetic? This is absolutely sad.
It is pretty terrible, honestly. It's pretty bad.
And it feels like the people of this town can do nothing to get rid of her. But it actually gets worse.
What state are we in here?
I don't even know. Dalton, the city of Dalton. I have no idea where it is, though. Because I watched this 3 times and I still don't know where that is.
It's a city where no one cares who they vote for, apparently.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's
That's
but
sad,
it's good to see that there are other black people who don't like this woman. So
yeah, but
definitely
look,
can't say.
Yeah. I mean, you got like a comic book guy calling her out. Like, I mean, it's just I don't know. Like it goes to show the state of the country, basically. Just like the average person just doesn't know anything. It's sad.
Right. It really is. It really is. And this woman's a piece of garbage, man. She is pathetic.
Hey, Becca, she has experience. She has experience with crime, so she knows how to cut down on crime.
That's right. You got to act like a criminal in order to catch them, I guess.
That's right. She's gonna save the town a lot of money.
Gosh, yeah.
She's gonna save a lot of money because they're not gonna have to pay for their parking spots because they're not gonna have cars.
But this comes from weak-wristed men who are too afraid to stand up to women, to loudmouth women like this. That's what it comes from.
They almost deserve it, in my opinion.
Yep, they do. I would say the whole town probably deserves this.
Yeah, no, it's the culture now, though. I mean, you should. Yeah. I mean, people are so. I mean, I'm from Jersey, right? So we're pretty diverse, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're from the New York area, so you know, it's like it's just There is no like we're all this and all that. It's just everyone's everywhere, so it doesn't really matter, right?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
you do have like neighborhoods that are certain things, but pretty much it's like you're gonna go get to the store, you're gonna go do this, you got to deal with everybody, right? So like people are still so uptight where I'm at. Like I just see it, and I purposely kind of just push through it, just to just to be like kind of like just like so people hear me, like
Right.
it could be as stupid as like just just say there's like a black dude in front of me or a black girl in front of me, and I'm just like making cultural references and just saying things people just don't want to say because they're scared or something, and
Right.
people look at me. Now the people I talk to could care less. They don't care, right? There's never a
Right.
problem with those people. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a problem with everyone else that's looking that's scared.
Oh, can't believe you said that. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
You said that in front of you guys.
I'm like, because everyone's so damn uptight. Like, stop it, man. It's like you're making my life uncomfortable. I don't like it.
Yeah, they're making the things worse. Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's stupid tension for no reason. Like, stop it. Just stop it right now. We're all people doing the same thing, working, trying to take care of our families, and just that's it, man. Stop it, man. It's not that difficult,
But this kind of stuff has to be constantly thrown in the faces of Black Democrats, in my opinion, because they are many of them are so deceived, particularly the older ones are so deceived
Yeah,
into
I've
believing
seen that
that
too.
everything Republican represents white racism.
Yeah,
And it's so obvious that these people don't read books, they don't understand history, because when you point these things out to them, it's like they're like a deer in headlights, and they're like, "Wait a minute, I didn't know that."
You
The
should
Great
see
Switch, we hear about that all the time, and yeah, go ahead.
my friend. He has a house in a town called New Brunswick, right? And it's
New
like
Brunswick, yeah, mhm.
right. That's where Rutgers is, right? That's where like the main campus of Rutgers is.
Yep, I'm
Okay,
very familiar with that
so
area.
and like everyone from all over the country comes. The kids, like. So like we kind of just like scratch our heads at the stupid girls that come from like Iowa and everywhere, and they get all drunk and they're like just crazy, right? Like these are the most naive people in the whole world. But like one day I'm like sitting outside and I'm like, hey girls, I'm like, hey, you girls are voting for Trump, right? I mean, you should see their face. They look at me like I'm the like I don't know, like I'm an alien from another planet. They're like, what? Are you crazy? This is like they're like, no, what are you like what? Like I mean, like I said, like I just blew their whole brains off their head. Like they're like, what are you talking about? No way would I do that. I'm like, why not? I'm like, and this is when Hillary was running. I'm like, so what about Hillary? Do you like? She's a woman. She's a woman. I'm like, so what the hell? What does that mean? It's just clueless people.
It's about time we had a female president. I mean, that's
that's
the thinking by some of these people, which is
it's either
insane.
that or Trump hates black people and is a racist and this and that. Like that's the logic. I mean, everyone is thoroughly indoctrinated. It's just it's wild, man.
Yeah, that's what I used to hear when I first before I started to change my mind about Trump. That people say, "Oh man, he trying to put us back in chains." I said, "Oh really?
Really?"
And then I said, wait a minute, there's way too many people hating this guy. Let me actually listen to what he has to say. So it was actually the left's fault that he's as successful as he is now, as popular as he is now.
I believe that too.
Even now that he's been indicted how many times? Over 4 times.
Yeah, I mean that should say it all. But in my opinion, like it's sad that like Trump. I mean I like what Trump tried to do. But it's still sad and pathetic to me that this is the cream of the crop. Like, out of 300 million people, this is what we got. Like, what
you're talking about Trump, right? Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Trump's great.
Yeah,
he's something sad. Different. He's pushing against the you know what I mean? He's pushing buttons. Everyone hates. I love that about him, and I love that he talks trash. He's entertaining. But this is the cream of the crop. I mean, what do I really want? I really want someone that's going to fix this nonsense. I mean, that's what I want.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and someone smarter than Trump, honestly. He's a smart guy. He knows how to make money, he knows how to talk. But I mean, Is he the
Yeah,
brains of America? I mean, come on, man. This is,
you know, see, because I was hoping that Ron DeSantis would be that guy. You know, I was just like, when he started first
he's
coming on the
yeah.
scene, I was just like, hey, I kind of like this guy, Ron
I,
DeSantis. Let's see what he's doing for Florida. But
yeah, that's
then,
cool what he did. Honestly,
yeah, but
that was a
the
bold move.
more I get to know him, the more becoming more not convinced that he's the right guy. I mean, he seemed like he's he
Warlord.
seemed like he would defend America to a certain point. You
I said
know,
the Ukraine deal, where he's like, no, we need to send like $100 zillion more to Ukraine because we hate
gosh.
the Russians. I'm like, dude, sorry,
And
dude, you're not
and I
for me.
like Vivek, but I don't see him as president material. I see him as
I
something else.
do like Vivek too. He knows how to say all the right things too.
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
I like.
but honestly, it really does bother me that he's like a Hindu. It really bothers me. You know, and
Well,
I don't know
yeah,
if I can
theologically
separate my
speaking, yeah,
politics totally. And
yeah,
I'm not saying Trump is some like Christian, like, you know what I mean. I don't really know, but
right,
at least he professes Christ. At least he does that. I don't
right.
know if I feel
So Vivek
comfortable
is
having a pagan
actually
as our president. I really don't know. I mean,
so Vivek is actually a Hindu, though.
I'm pretty positive. Yeah, pretty
Oh,
sure.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
he's not. He's definitely not a Christian. I'm pretty
I
sure
haven't
he's
heard
a
him talk
Hindu. Yeah,
about religion, except I heard him mention God, but I didn't. That's it. That's all I heard him
but
say. I didn't
I
hear
mean,
him say.
he does stick up for conservative Christian values, which is good. You know, and
Yeah,
I always say this honestly around me because there's a lot of Indian people, there's a lot of Indian communities, and besides me calling them cheap all the time because they are,
right,
which is it's just their culture. You know, whatever. I mean, I'm not knocking them, but I'm just PO'd because I'm always arguing with them. But I'd rather live next to an Indian than a lot of people because they you know what I mean. They have conservative values. They don't they're not out stealing cars and robbing each other for the most part. You know what I mean.
right, right.
So and I do value that. I mean, that's what I want. I want people that actually have morals, like you have standards. And Vivek does push for that. So I do like what he has to say, and I like his boldness to go after the establishment. But
Yeah,
it's all talk until you see what you know what I mean. Till
exactly, exactly.
it's all talk. It's easy to
Yeah,
say it, another thing to do it. So who knows.
right, right. No,
And I
that's
don't like he's a pagan.
true.
I don't like the fact that he's you know what I mean. I don't like that fact. But he stands for freedom of religion, which is good. Obviously, the Constitution. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm like doing something wrong by if I voted for a pagan as our president. You know what I mean? A denier of Christ. I just feel like that's wrong. I don't know. I just
Yeah,
and there is that separation, but I don't know. Just something inside me says I don't know if I could do that.
right, right.
So
Yeah, yeah. There's we seem to sometimes have these moments of what's the word I'm looking for? We sometimes have these moments of victory with for those of us who are either in the center or on the right.
yeah,
We're
kind
fighting
of.
against movements. So we get those glimmers of victory, if you will, where we
Yeah, but
get every once in a while somebody stands up and they're bold enough to say these things
yeah,
against the right.
true.
Um, like this new guy, this new president of Argentina. There's some videos surfacing
Uh huh.
of him bashing the left.
Well, I mean,
Have you seen
honestly,
those videos?
when you leave the country, everyone that's called right wing is a Democrat. Basically, when you get out of the United States, everyone that they call right wing is a Democrat to us. Okay, and even here, what used to be called a Democrat is the right wing now. So I mean,
Right.
honestly, every year they're pushing. It's like one of those things where they try to take 20 feet, right, and we push back 10, and we're like, yeah, but they really gained 10 feet. You know what I mean? And it's happening every year. So it's like, yeah, no, we pushed them back, we won, but really they gained another 5 feet, and they keep on pushing and pushing and pushing, and we're like, there's a trajectory that's it's all gonna just disaster eventually. I mean, I just I
I'm
mean,
sorry. Say that last part again.
I said it's all gonna end in disaster. I mean that's my opinion. It's just they keep on pushing and pushing. I mean, think about the morality of the whole entire country. Think about the standards of the country. Think about like the mindset. everything is it doesn't matter. It's still pushing away from God
Yeah.
every year. And, we have our little, our resurgence, and we win our little battles, but it don't matter. It's still pushing and pushing and pushing. We have like statues of Satan in courtrooms. Like, it's insane now. You know what I mean? There's gay people and lesbians. They're teaching children like how to masturbate. It's insane, dude. I mean,
Man, yeah.
what?
When I heard about that, man, that infuriated me.
I would have lost
That
my mind
infuriated
if my daughter came.
And
I would
there's
have
no way to
lost it.
justify that either. There's no way to justify that.
No, I mean, my kid went to public school, and thank the Lord, it was nothing like, never ever was it anything close to that. I almost think, I'm like, is the news just sensationalizing this, like making it seem like it's just going up? Because I mean, there's no way. You know what I mean? There's no way. But I don't know. Like, it just my life experience and me in the streets and me talking to my neighbors and everybody and living my life doesn't equate to the news, what I see. You know what I mean? It doesn't equate to YouTube news, especially, where it's like the left has gone mad and taking over everywhere. I don't see that. I don't feel that. So it's hard to judge exactly where we're at, honestly.
Well, I want to address a comment on the side chat for those who are just popping in. So, Pride of Judah, yeah, thank you for the comments that you left on the comment section. I already talked about the update 12. All I can say is that the series is, I'm still working on it right now. Here's the closest thing I got to a teaser. If you guys want to, if just in case you missed it,
I do want to see it.
This is it. It's just something I put for the countdown for this stream that I did today. So, but this is it. That's about it.
Oh, I didn't see anything. I just seen a picture. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just a picture.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay.
It's just a picture for the countdown for the
Cool.
for the beginning of the stream. That's as close as you're gonna get to anything remotely close to it. Anything like a teaser. But if you guys want to, listen to that, because that song that I chose for that image there is awesome. It's like a "Oh Come All Ye Faithful," but like a more of a hardcore orchestral version of it, more of an epic orchestral version of it, like an action-packed film. Yeah,
I'm a 12 fanboy, so.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah,
I did. No, that's the.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, I had no idea you even did that. I mean, I for somehow I ended up in one of your streams somehow. I don't remember exactly how. And I found all that, like the 12 thing. After all that, I'm like, wow, this is awesome, man. So every time it was ever brought up in your streams, I always promote that thing. I'm like, dude, you guys got to watch this, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, my
favorite is when the soldiers come from, like that little clip when the soldiers come for him, and they all like get pushed back, and he's just like, oh, I love that, man. It's awesome.
Oh yeah. You're talking about
where the leaves are falling.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. I mean, that was a cool.
Yeah, if you guys ever want to see that, for those who are watching, I got an animated version of John 18. That's going to actually appear in the actual episode. That's going to be probably the first scene.
Awesome.
And you actually see the soldiers fall back like we see in the scriptures. Most of these movies that do it, nothing happens to them. They just kind of shrug their shoulders.
It is exactly.
Like the only one that actually did it right was a thing called Superbook. I think they actually did it right. They did it accurately.
I've never seen that one. I've never seen that.
Because I was looking around at all the Jesus movies and shows that I can think of that actually talk about that particular scene in the Garden of Gethsemane, and none of them do it right except for this one animated children's cartoon where the guys actually do fall backwards. They fall down.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, in all the movies, they kind of make Jesus a little weak sauce. Honestly, like he's hanging out with a bunch of like roughneck fishermen. He's like just shouting down all the authorities. He don't care. Like, I mean, I mean, he cares, but you know what I mean. Like he's not like he's subject to these authorities. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? He's like, listen. He just tells it as it is. You know. Like I like when he said, "I'll make the rocks cry out if I have to." Like it's just I don't know. They make Jesus like this kind of like blue-eyed pansy a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, wait till you see what I got in store for this episode. Let me just say it this way: a lot of people call themselves Christians that are more liberal-minded. They're gonna be upset.
Really?
That's wait a minute. My God is not like this. This is, where's the teddy bear Jesus? And what do we always say as Christians? He says he came here as a lamb, but when he comes back, he's coming as a lion, right? We say that a
Yeah,
lot,
amen.
right?
Amen.
And because he's bringing wrath with him,
Yeah.
and that's what you're going to see.
I mean,
in this episode.
We all had you had your chance. Like, come on, man. You had the
Right.
teddy bear Jesus. Take advantage of it. He wants you to. He's begging you. Come on. He's
That's
waiting
right.
for you. What are you doing? You're gonna wait for the lion to come eat you?
It's in this episode when he makes his appearance. He's bringing his wrath. You're gonna see it. So I hope that's one of the reasons why it's taking me this long to do this series. I mean, to do this episode is because I want there to be a nice build up to that moment.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of pressure for
final
the end.
episode.
A lot of
Yeah.
pressure for the end. Is I
Yeah.
could imagine. I mean, I couldn't pull anything like that off at all. So I could imagine. I could definitely.
Well, it's hard work, and sometimes I do get a little burnt out, so I had to take a break, which is exactly why I'm doing the stream tonight.
I'm sure you don't want to let yourself down. You don't want to let people down, and and most of all, you want to be right with God about it.
Exactly, that's exactly right. I want to glorify God first of all, and then edify His people second of all. Yeah, so.
I mean, I got nothing but respect for that. It's not a like I said to take on the job is just tough enough for me. I'd be like, oh. I'd probably never get out of the first scene.
Well, I'm fully convinced that God has called me to do this because the amount of work that goes into even doing with this low, and I say some people say, "Oh, come on, it's not that low quality." It is low quality because I'm the only one working on it, and I'm not using the most expensive software to make it as better, and I'm doing it part time. I mean, because I'm not getting paid to do it. I have to make money to pay the bills.
Yeah.
So the only time I get to work on it is during my lunch breaks or on my days off.
Out of curiosity, what does it take to pull off like a scene? Like, I mean, I have no idea. It seems like a lot, but I just have no idea. Like, I'm just curious. Like, say that scene where the soldiers fall down. How long did that take from like you zooming in with the leaves blowing the air? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That whole scene, like, what is that? Like, what from start to finish? Like, what does that take? Months?
A few months. Depending on what type of obstacles I might have in my way. And I'm kind of detailed oriented as well in some parts. So
and I recognize you're not working on it 24 hours a day. I recognize that it's not your job. You know what I mean? I totally recognize that. Obviously.
Yeah.
You have a team, but you don't have a team working on it for 8 hours a day.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why I say all the time. Sometimes people offer money to help me out, but
you don't even know how to apply it, right?
To be honest with you, I really don't.
You're gonna quit your job.
Well, I would only quit my job if I had this certain amount of money to provide. Me to pay the bills, so I can do this full time. That's really what I need is more time. That's more than anything else.
I tell you, that takes a leap of faith too. You know what I mean? You have a kid, a wife. I mean,
for example, my wife gets on me every time I talk about this. I'll talk about it now, but I admitted to her that a guy approached me many years ago, and he says, "Hey, I like what you're doing, man." I said, I appreciate it. He says, "I wanted to offer you some money." I says, okay. And he said, yeah, I just want to help you. Any way I can contribute, make some sort of contribution to help out. And I says, well, I pretty much already have everything I need, really. He says, well, I was willing to give you a decent amount of cash.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was just like, "Can I ask how much?" And he said, "I was going to give you $1,000. And I was just like, "Oh man, I appreciate that." But then I declined. I turned it down, and my
Yeah.
wife was like, "What? So you turned it down?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "Why?"
Yeah, I
I
get
said,
it
"What am
though.
I going to do with $1,000 with the
I,
material that I already had? I mean, it's not going to be enough for me
I can't.
to leave my job,
I
you
kind of
know?"
I kind of get where you're coming from. Like, not that I get, like I said, I'm in your position, but just the whole entire. This is why I don't even have a channel, honestly,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I can't. I'm nervous about that. Like, God forbid I'm up there and I'm misrepresenting God, or you know what I mean, or lose my patience. Like, dude, the whole thing, I just like pressure on me. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do that. I just, you
right.
know what I mean? And that's it's just the way I am. Like, I mean, I'll be bold, I'll argue, I'll talk, but like, once you enter like different steps, you're taking on the new responsibility. And I mean, people should take it seriously because a lot of people don't, to be honest with you. And you see it all over YouTube, just clowns and heretics and like
Right,
cults almost. They don't
right.
care. They don't care at all. It's like I never want to be something like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just first I obviously don't want to give people the impression that I'm trying to e-beg and stuff like that.
You're not
But
though. You never
but I,
do. Honestly, you don't do that.
but at the same time, again, I'm being
It could help.
sincere. I was like, what can I do with this money? I mean, it's only $1,000, and I'm not saying that
What is it
to
like?
belittle it.
What is the production like? Is it on your computer? Like, does it? I mean, besides your time, which is valuable, of course, does it? Do you have to put out money? Like, I have no idea.
Yeah, the only money that I put out for is to use the Adobe software that I'm using.
Okay.
And I pay like maybe 20 something a month.
Okay. Okay. I get you.
But
I
I
mean,
got
obviously,
another
like,
device
time
where
is
I use
money,
it for
though.
free.
Time is valuable. Time is money. It's time with not with
Yeah,
your family. Time. I mean, time not working. I mean, all that. All that I understand. Right. I
right.
totally respect and understand that. I was just curious if there was like an actual cost to producing this thing. I don't know, Beckle. Well, you did a good job so far. So you should be, you should have no hang ups about what you did so far, because I think it's great. I mean, I tell everyone, I'm like, you got to watch this, man. And I mean,
Right.
honestly, I think it would provide. Like, I like it as an adult, right?
Right.
I am dying to see the end. Like, I want to see how you animate the end. I like that it's like a comic book kind of thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I
Right.
like all of it. It's entertaining. It's captivating. I like it. Like, you know what I mean. I really do want to see the end, and I think it would be a great ministry to people. Honestly, I really do. I mean,
Well, some people have come to me and said that they've utilized it, a part of it for, Bible study and stuff. They'll talk about the end times, studying Revelation, and they'll
I'm thinking
refer to
I'm
the
thinking
video.
kids though. You know what I mean. I'm thinking younger people. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean. Like, they're
Wh-
into that. They're into
Oh,
animation, and they're. It,
I'm glad that you mentioned kids too, by the way, because this is something I have to constantly remind people too. This particular episode, I'm pushing the envelope just a tad, just a
yeah.
little bit.
Okay.
So it's going to be like more PG-13 esque,
Yeah,
not
it's
rated
okay. The
R, but
scriptures. The scriptures
yeah,
aren't. You know what I mean. They are what they are. It is what it is.
yeah. So it's
And
going
if
to be,
kids can handle
it's going
that.
to start off really, really dark. Actually, start off really dark.
Yeah.
But then obviously since it's the end, and you guys already know pretty much, since you're familiar with scripture, you know that Christ is going to return in this episode. So things are going to get better. Um,
Yep.
so I think that there will be some parts in there with some tear jerking there as well.
Well, don't you like?
Um,
I mean, if I'm remembering now,
yeah.
don't you have like a young like little black kid who's like I don't know. He's like almost like he knows the scriptures, and he comes to Israel. They fly to Israel, right?
You're talking about the main character?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Gregory. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
one of the 144,000 and lives in New York City, and
exactly. Okay, exactly. All right. So,
and he's on a
I mean,
journey
all
from
these things. I mean, as much as like we don't dwell on stuff like that, but like in this stupid culture we have, those things matter. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, as cheesy as it might sound. Like, I don't know. Like, well, I don't live in a black neighborhood, so I don't know the ministry to kids. Honestly, I don't. You know what I mean? And
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right.
you know what I mean? It's just like it's just more things to motivate more people to Christ. That's all.
Yeah. I ever since I was a kid, even before I became a believer, I've always grew up with the notion that diversity was important. Because my mother
You
always
got to
taught
be
me.
my age, man. You got to be my age. I'm telling you, we're the same age. Like
Yeah.
we grew up
Yeah.
not being racist
Right.
and appreciating other people for what they
Yeah.
have. Because
Right.
I'm telling you,
Right.
we're the same age. I almost guarantee
My
it. I might be
my
a little
dad.
older, but it's close.
My dad was a little bit on the more of a less he's more of a pro-black kind of thing, but not black
That's
nationalist. But
okay. It's okay.
it's fine. But
Yeah, but he probably experienced more people pushing
yeah,
against black people,
right.
so it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
It's not a
right,
bad thing. You got to stick up for your people. It's fine.
right.
Yeah,
There
that's
was
not
that
a
one
bad thing.
time I had a discussion with him about where I was going to go to college, and then he told me he was recommending this college over here, this college over there, and I was like, nah, no thanks. I want to go over here. And he says, why don't you want to go to what's wrong with an all black college? And I was like, I grew up around black people all my life. I want to, now that I'm
Tired of
finally
black people.
spreading my wings, I want to see more different cultures and
I
different
want
people.
some white girls in my life. No, just
Yeah, I want some white women.
Yo, my boy said white girls are easy, Dad. Come
I
on.
want some white women.
No, honestly,
Oh,
to
yeah.
be serious, like my dad, I guess he was like a hippie. That's what my mom said. He was like a hippie kind of. So right. I mean, honestly, from when I was a kid, my mom and my dad always said they're like they would always actually talk about like racism and stuff, and I always look at them like, what the hell? What the heck are you talking about? Like I'd look at them like they were stupid. Like I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like I wasn't even thinking about it, right? But then my dad would bring me to like his best friend's house, right? And his best friend was like this biker dude that had like he was in prison for a little bit. He had like a white power tattoos on his arm and like he
Oh,
was
man.
crazy, right? And I'm like, what the heck is this? You know what I mean? So then I seen why. I understood what he was talking about because I never knew. I didn't even understand things like that until I met this guy, and he's throwing out slurs and you know what I mean? I'm like, whoa, Dad, what's that? He's like, never be like him. I'm like, why is he your best friend? He's like, because I mean we were friends since we were kids. He's like, I'm loyal. And and check this out. One time we went to a fishing and hunting expo at it's called the Raritan Center. It's like in the exposition hall, whatever. I mean, the place where like they have like big all these different companies have little booths at it and you pay to get in, right? This guy, my dad's best friend, showed up. He got in the car. He had a Ku Klux Klan t-shirt on, right?
Oh my gosh.
Right? Check this out. My dad, he was like a in a biker gang. He was a crazy dude, right? And my dad is totally not that. It's really hard to explain. Like I'd have to go into detail. But anyway, he gets in the car. My dad doesn't notice. I didn't notice. You know what I mean? I'm just sitting in the back going, "Oh, cool. We're gonna get fishing stuff. I don't really care." I'm a kid. We get out of the car. My father looks at his shirt. He goes, "What the f is that, dude?" He's like, "I'm not walking in this place with you like that. Nah, no freaking way. Take that off or turn it inside out." He made him turn it inside out. He's like, "What the heck is wrong with you?" And he was going on and on and on. And I'm like, "Oh my god!"
So he actually did turn it inside out. The shirt.
Yeah, oh damn right he did.
Oh man.
Right. So it's like I kind of like I get it. You know what I mean? I get it, but I also grew up in a culture where like when we were kids, no one cared, and
Right.
like my parents like until like I met people like that, I didn't even know that was a thing. To be honest with you, I didn't even know it was a thing until I actually experienced people that were like crazy like that.
Yeah.
So it's almost like
the way it
to me,
always
it's like
is.
it's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous that people dwell on
It
this
is, man.
nonsense. It's just garbage. It's ridiculous.
It is, man, and I'm so glad that you pointed that out because this is a universal truth. I mean, the Bible makes it very clear that we all fall short of the glory of God.
Yeah.
And just because you're white or Asian or black, whatever, that doesn't mean that you're above reproach, that you cannot commit sin,
Yeah.
or that you sin less than this other group of people over here. Within every group, there you're gonna have
Yeah.
some people who are doing contrary to
Yeah,
God's will.
idiots, morons. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
right. That's right. And I,
always.
and I love that God has revealed this truth to everywhere, to everybody.
Yeah,
That
but I,
there's none good, no, not one.
yeah, no,
I
the
love
biggest. I mean, I think the biggest like bamboozle or the biggest like just like the devil fooling people is to thinking that there's such a thing as people groups or
right.
races and stuff. Like, I mean, it's total nonsense, man. Oh, Veckel, you're more tan than me, so you're like a wholly different species or something. Dude, it's just so
Oh yeah,
dumb, man. It's ridiculous. Like,
yeah. I used to hear that
it's
about the
absurd.
Jewish people too. People used to say that if
Oh
you're
yeah.
Jewish, you have some sort of special.
Oh, they're
You know.
greedy. They are greedy. I'll tell you that.
Yep.
Just like-
No, well, I was talking about being saved and stuff like that. Because you're
No,
you're
but
special. You
to
have some
be, I
sort
mean,
of
that
yeah.
and this is the same attitude I was talking about before, where I kind of like try to break the tension between people. I do say those things in front of people. I'm like,
Oh,
dude, I love you Indians, but you drive like garbage. Like I just if people start cracking up. I'm like, dude, it's so true, right? And people like start die laughing.
that's funny.
I mean, it's like there is such a thing as cultures, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but we're not
And
different.
with every stereotype, there's always a truth.
Well,
I mean, that's where that's why they're
yeah,
stereotypes, because
but
there
we're
is some sort of
all
truth to them.
God's creatures. Like we're all from Adam. Like we're all the same in a grandeur sense, right? But like,
Right.
I mean, our like upbringing and stuff like that. Of course, it's different. I mean, hey, variety's the spice of life. No, I mean, come
Right.
on. You want to be bored all day?
And that's one of the things when I'm arguing with some of even my own cousins, who are really, far left. They'll argue. One of the things they'll bring up whenever we're getting into a discussion is like, man, are you black, bro? Are you black? And that's like, well, I'm an
Uncle
American
Tom,
Christian who just happens to be black. Yes. And
Uncle
so, yeah, but what
Tom.
about your people? I says, well, I'm going to hold my people accountable when they do something wrong. And they say, yeah, but you sound like you covering for the white man. I says, no, wait, I would give this kind of criticism to anybody. And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
and
You're
then
not
and I
you don't have
said,
to be the
secondly,
representative of all
right,
black people.
and I said, secondly, and I said, first of all, I said, my allegiance is to Christ first, okay,
Amen.
and my allegiance is to His people first, right, and then I, show. Because just as Jesus said, whoever does the will of my Father is my mother, brother, and sister.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at
Yeah.
other humans. If my people
Exactly.
are
We're
those who
family.
have an allegiance to Christ, they're more of my blood than my physical blood.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
isn't that the plea of the gospel in a sense? Like, dude,
Yeah.
come back into the family. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Right, because half of these people that are criticizing me for my blackness or lack thereof,
That's so
according to them, they're not believers. They're theists, but they don't believe in Jesus Christ.
Hey,
They don't
man, my
believe in him.
family needs a good basketball player.
That's
I mean,
right.
it's so
Hey, you should
stupid.
tell
I
them
mean,
that they might get mad, but at the same time, if you criticize them otherwise, and they'll say, "Oh,
I
so
mean,
black people can't play basketball."
it's just like like that's my attitude. I like to see how stupid I could go with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
How ridiculous I could just say things until people start to realize, like, hello, like this is so stupid. Dude, stop it, man. Just stop it, man. Like,
this day and age is harder because people are so oversensitive and just waiting for you to say something that they can take a microaggression on of some sort.
But like I said, in my experience of I guess the stupid white dude, the older white guy that just doesn't care. Okay, like it's not the people that I talk to and say things, like they don't care, dude. Like I was talking to this older dude the other day, and he was doing Mr. T for me. He's like, I pity the fool. I was like,
pity the fool. Yeah, right.
And like everyone's looking at us like we're like insane people, like because they have no idea what we're talking about. Right?
Nobody know about the 18. Come on.
I'm like, come on, you gotta help me. You gotta help me, freaking. You gotta help me drug him. We gotta go on the plane with Faceman, man. Come on, let's go.
That's right. BA. He didn't fly planes, right? He didn't like planes, right?
I mean,
Right.
like, it's just like people are like scared of people. It's just so stupid, man. I'm like, dude, this
Yeah.
shit's it's gotta end. It's just gotta
But
stop, man.
Kevin left a comment on the side saying, "Remember when Jesse Lee Peterson tried to push the stupidity that racism doesn't exist?" See, now this is one thing. The only thing I like about Jesse Lee Peterson is the fact that
I
he's
like him
so
too.
bold to say what he says.
I
But
kind of like him too.
some of the stuff he says is just absolutely dumb.
He's
Like, first of all, he rejects the Trinity. That's a problem.
No, obviously he's a heretic. Okay, we
Yeah,
all
he's a
get that.
heretic. Yeah.
He denies the deity of Christ. He denies the Trinity. He thinks like it's like
You have to do good works in order to be saved. I
yeah,
think he
he's
believes.
just like the whole thing is like for like a self-help plan basically. I mean that's the
Yeah.
way I look at it. You know what I mean? Jesus is Jesus came so that we could get a job and get money and a wife. You know, like I mean
Yeah. It's mostly
sad.
about.
It's really
Yeah.
sad in a way. It's really sad,
Yeah.
but he does say things that are true. He does
Right.
push on points that like, hey, you know, he's not
But the
all
racism
wrong.
thing, when he says racism doesn't exist, I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. I say, okay, what do you mean when you say that? Because it doesn't make any sense. Of course, racism exists.
Yeah, of
Now,
course,
if he's
it
saying
does.
systemic racism, I don't know if that such a thing exists overall. It might
That might exist too in a
well
sense.
within separate individual
Yeah, I mean,
corporate entities,
it
yes,
makes
but
sense
not
if I
under
teach
the
my
law,
children to be stupid.
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it makes sense in a way, but at the same time, it's the whole thing that doesn't exist. Like the reality of it doesn't exist. We're not. There's no such thing as a race. Like there's no such thing. Like
if that's what he means, okay, that I understand. But he doesn't. But when he says racism doesn't exist, he's simply talking about white on black.
Yeah, he sticks up for like
angst or
like
something like
racists
that. He
too,
says it doesn't
which is kind
exist,
of
and that's
annoying.
ridiculous.
He sticks
Yeah.
up for like racists, which kind of annoys the hell out of me too.
Yeah, I mean racism. I mean people are still racist. They're always.
No, I mean, but they love him. They're like, dude. They're like, yeah, white people should have their own neighborhoods. Yeah, Jesse. And he's like,
says
amen.
Yes,
and I'm
I
like,
wonder
what
why
the
he
heck
says
is
that
happening
too.
here?
Yeah, because he'll say Happy White Person's Month or something like that for the month of July. And I'm like,
He's trying to get a
he's
rise,
obviously
so-
trolling. He's funny. You know, it sounds funny. I think he's just doing that just to kind of
Yeah,
get
me
people
too.
to shock value so they can listen to what he
Exactly.
really has to say. But sometimes he doesn't really have a point. He's just saying these things and there's no point behind it. So there's
he does promote scumbags. Honestly, sometimes he does.
Okay, yeah. See, that's why I don't like him as much as I used
Yeah,
to.
he promotes dirtbags. Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes, but that
But
doesn't mean he doesn't have truth and he doesn't say truth.
but
And a lot of
there's
things he says aren't true. They are true. They are really true.
But there was another guy who was very similar to him. It's called James David Manning. You know, Pastor James David Manning. He's the one that says Obama's a long-legged Mac Daddy.
Yeah,
you know, that guy.
see, I kind of appreciate him
Now-
more than that.
Right now, he's kind of the same thing with Jesse Peterson, except not as comical. But he'll say
long-legged Mac Daddy.
He'll
Is
say
pretty
these
comical, man.
outlandish things against black people, and when you first hear him, you say, "Yeah, that makes sense." Okay,
Shock value.
and then it's all shock value. But then you ask him, "Okay, you're obviously saying all these disparaging things about black people because you want to get to a point. You want to encourage black people to not be like that, right?" But no, he doesn't do
All
that. He just
people not to be like
criticizing,
that.
you know, and then just like. Okay, fine. I understand that you say these things to kind of reel people in so they can really pay attention to what you have to say, but he just leaves it at just the insults. And I was just like, okay, that's not cool. I don't mind you saying these outlandish things to kind of get people's ear, but you got to follow it up with some substance, you know. And Jesse Lee Peterson fails in doing that, and so does this other guy that I talked about.
Yeah, because you end up promoting the same thing in the end if you don't.
Yeah.
If you don't refute the whole entire idea.
Now the problem is that with both of these guys, they both claim to be men of God.
Yeah,
you can't be.
That's pretty
So
shallow.
wait a minute. If a true man of God is going to say outlandish things, or at least things that are outlandish to people, but they're going to try to win them over by reasoning, trying to attempt to reason with them instead of just because Christians don't preach the gospel just to arbitrarily make people upset. We preach the gospel so that people can get saved. So God's name is glorified and people can get saved. So we're not just going out there just to offend people and then call it a day. That's what these guys are doing. They're just offending people and they're not following it up with anything positive that the people that they're talking to should do. And that's the problem.
Yeah, I know the problems extend further than that, but yeah, so I get what you're saying. Definitely.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why I don't like Jesse Lee Peterson. So
yeah, but I mean, it's also like, and I try to. I really like lately. I've been stepping back from being so quick to judge people, right?
Yeah.
And I've been trying to step back and trying to think about trying to like exhibit the heart of God and be like, listen, people have all kinds of dumb ideas and people have all kinds of theology that's just totally has nothing to do with the Bible, and they've been deceived and they've been, you know what I mean? So what is the gospel? Like what is enough to save you? Like what, you know what I mean? So like people are like, Trinity, that's impossible, and this and that. Okay, fine. Let's put that aside for now. Okay. Do you trust that Jesus died for your sins? Like that's like the bare minimum I'm going to start with, right? And we're gonna take it from there and see where it goes. You know what I mean? Because think about it. I mean, do you imagine on Judgment Day, God's sitting there going, "You didn't understand. You didn't understand 3 persons with one God essence. So hell for you." Right?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, man.
And I believe like like people that flat out deny the Trinity are heretics, right? I believe that they're in error. And I mean I'm an you know what I mean? I accept orthodoxy with Christianity, I disagree with Calvinism, but I accept you as accepting orthodoxy, right? So like so it's like you know what I mean? I have a standard, right? Even when those people don't exactly meet that standard, okay, it goes beyond that. Like, I'm not going to start out with, like, do you understand the hypostatic union? Okay, like,
right.
The hypo, what? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I mean, the heart of God?
I think God is going to give them the same amount of grace as well. I mean,
exactly. Like the heart of God is to forgive, right?
Right.
I mean, the heart of God is to forgive. He's long suffering. I mean, he's not like, you do not understand. I mean, come on. Like, dude, I mean, that's so like, that's making it not about God. That's making it about like you and your standards. So yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's easy to fall into that. And I do fall into that often. Okay. I'm quick to be like, you heretic, like I don't like it. And, I know it. And I have been convicted that it's wrong. It's wrong. It's the wrong approach. It's just totally wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the early Christians didn't even have words for these things. Okay. So it's like, dude, we're in like this weird spoiled place where we have access to all the theology and like, you know what I mean? We have all these like people before us as Christians, we stand on their shoulders. So it's like, we're in a totally different place. So it's like, I mean, everyone's so quick to judge each other. We should step back from that, and especially online where it's so easy to just throw out names and you're this and you're that and you believe this and like I think we should stop all that. I think God's gonna slap us in the face and be like, what were you doing? What the heck were you doing this whole time? You could have been saving people, and you're sitting there arguing over like intricacies, like philosophy, like you know what I mean, like philosophy, honestly.
I agree. I agree to that to some extent for sure. Yeah,
exactly. And there comes an extent where, hey, you can't keep denying these things. Like, there's something wrong with you. Of course there is. But like, I think we gotta have a lot more charity, and and try to save a lot more people. To be honest with you, I mean I don't know. I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I've just been thinking I did a lot of. I was quick to judge. I just think that's the wrong attitude. It's not the heart of God, honestly. I just don't think it is. I really do.
Well, welcome to the room, Kevin. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much, man. I'm just here to start trouble,
Yeah,
What's up, Kev?
Merry Christmas.
Merry this. That boy Ryan Potato's been running his mouth about me for months. He calls up Praise with a sob story last night. Oh, Praise, I have to cancel the debate. I have to move. And besides, I'm locked out of my Google account, so I don't have access to my slides.
Hey, Beckle, you're laughing. Ryan's your boy. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm laughing at his impression of it.
See, there's something to laugh about in
I'll
everything.
tell you what, Praise, call him back and ask him when he's ready to reschedule. And then he goes, I don't know, maybe sometime in February. I don't even know if I still want to do it.
Yeah, you know what, though? We all could be, you know what I mean? We all
No,
could
I
be
want
kind
all
of freaking harsh and stupid.
He's going to get this exegetical pimp slap, boy.
Wait, Kevin, you know I love you, and I mean, we agree on like almost everything, honestly. But like, how quick are you to be like, you scumbag? Like, I mean, come on, dude. You gotta chill with that kind of stuff, man. Come on. You know what I mean? You're gonna bring people to God by calling them scumbags?
No, man.
He might be a scumbag. That might be true, but come on, man. You're not gonna convince him of anything by calling him a scumbag.
I don't care. I'm not trying to convince him. I just want to hurt his ego.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It turns people off to Christ. And there is a line there. There is a line where you know what? You can speak your mind and speak boldly and kind of offensively. There is a line where that's perfectly fine. But when it's really quick and like when I put on a video and you like it takes 4 seconds and you're calling people scumbags, it almost turns me off to it. I'm like, come on, man. It's like, dude, it's not gonna work like that. Like no one's gonna listen is the problem. I'm not even saying I disagree with you. I'm just saying no one's gonna listen, and that's what we want people to do is
Why are you
listen.
acting like I do that?
You know what I mean? And I'm guilty. You know what I mean? I fail so bad. I actually pulled away. I pulled away because I'm so terrible at it. You know what I mean? I pulled away just to think about it for a long time. It's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard to know what to do, especially online because people don't care. People don't listen, and it's so frustrating. You're like, dude, am I talking to the wall? Like, stop! You know what I mean? Like, I get it. I mean, I totally
here's
get
the thing, right? So Beckel, he's the one. So he came up to Praise and said he told Praise he wanted to debate me, and he asked Praise to ask me. So first of all, he challenged me, and he didn't even have the fortitude to come ask himself. He asked third party, asked Praise. Then he's canceling it. And he doesn't want to set a rescheduled date. Saying, and he's making excuses.
Hey, Ryan's got a special place in my heart. I'll tell you that. I mean, dude, from the day I met him, he called me like a, what did he call me? A Pelagian. I'm talking years ago.
Oh yeah, he's called me a semi-Pelagian. He said I'm teetering towards full Pelagian. He called me an antinomian.
Years ago.
Then he called me a neonomian, and then he said I'm not saved because I don't believe people in the Old Testament were regenerated and dwelt with the Holy Spirit.
And Kevin, before I even met you, I did an email, like me and Ryan talked offline, and he was calling me a Pelagian, this and that. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about, dude? All I said was that babies aren't guilty of anything because they're babies. And he's going on and on, calling me all kinds of names. I'm like, whoa,
don't you
who
know,
is this
Dan?
dude?
They're vipers and diapers.
I'm like, are coma victims sitting right now? I mean, come on, stop it.
Well, Ryan doesn't believe that babies are.
I don't know. Maybe. Oh, he did. He did when I first talked to him, Beckel. I promise you, he did because he said it right to my face.
He also said young Earth creationism is the biggest hindrance to the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Well, he was calling me a Pelagian for defending babies that can't even talk, that don't even know anything. They want to suck on their mom's boob for food, like they don't know anything. They're babies. That's all I was saying. I'm like, dude, come on, man. How could you say, "Yeah, go to hell, you little"? Like, what are you talking about, dude? This is ridiculous.
You're not exaggerating.
I'm not even No, ask it. I mean, you could ask him. I don't know if he'll be honest. I remember it. I remember it totally. I remember it totally, and I didn't even know what Pelagian means. I had no idea what a Calvinist was, what a Pelagian was. No clue. I just got out of Roman Catholicism.
Years ago, huh? Was this a long time ago?
Years ago. Yes, I just got out of Roman Catholicism. Okay, I was calling myself an atheist. Then I was convicted and I came to Christ, and I was trying to understand like what that even meant. Okay, and I found all kinds of people. And one day I was talking to Ryan, and he's like, no, you got to email me. And dude, we were arguing about babies, and he's calling me like I believe people can save themselves. He was going on and on. I'm like, I'm talking about babies. I was just going on like, it's a baby. It can't even talk. What are you talking about? This is dumb. I'm like, whatever you believe, it's stupid. Stop it. And dude, he's like, you heretic Pelagian. I'm just like, all right, I gotta go. Bye. And then we ended our Skype conversation. I think it was Skype or something.
It was on Skype. Okay.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was
how
a
long ago
long
it was,
time.
yeah.
It was years ago, Michael. But I mean, I might have been in your. Yes, I'm coming, amor. Minha esposa. Okay. Anyway, I guess I gotta go. I'm getting yelled at. But Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right, Merry Christmas, man. Be safe.
You too. God bless.
Merry Christmas.
All right, bye.
Well, that's disappointing. I was looking forward to seeing that exchange between the two of you. So,
believe me, I was too.
I bet you were. Right. Well, I guess I'm not gonna get that as a Christmas present this year. We'll see. They'll get everything. So, you already done all your Christmas shopping?
Oh, of course I did, man. It's Christmas Eve. What on earth? Who shops on Christmas Eve?
Oh yeah, that's true. You know, I have a friend of mine who has this tradition that he's always had with his friend. They've done it over 20 years, where they always done the Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve. So they did it ever since they were in high school, and I don't know if they've done it this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. So
that seems kind of hectic to me because a lot of stores aren't even open.
Yeah, right. Well, if they are, they're closed early probably today. So
yeah, I stopped at Tim Hortons earlier after I got out of church. I wanted to get something to eat, and I tried to order a steak wrap, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, sir. Anything that requires the grill, we're not cooking it today because we're closing early." So I ended up having to get a cold sandwich, a ham and cheese sandwich.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we just went to Wegmans, got a sub, and then came straight home. And so now
Beckel, is it just me, or is Wegmans subs getting smaller? Like I could swear they used to put more meat and cheese on them.
Thank you for saying that, because I was watching the dude make the sub, and I just like, So I was just here 2 weeks ago and I got a sub. Feel like they put more meat on it. I don't know.
Right. I used to give Wegmans all the praise for their subs. I'm like, man, they got the best subs. They put so much meat on there, fresh produce. Oh, it tastes fantastic. I ordered a sub from Wegmans a couple weeks ago, and I noticed like they used to put like 4 slices of cheese on a large sub. Right. Now they do what Subway does. They take 2 pieces of cheese and they fold it in half and break it. And then
that's exactly what this guy did to my sandwich. I ordered a large.
They used to do that. They didn't used to do that. It was 4 whole slices of cheese.
Oh man, see, that's that Bidenomics right there, man. That inflation.
Yeah,
this is inflation.
And it used to be $9.99 a sub. It costs more than that now.
Man, tis the season. Well, you've probably heard that the powers that be are trying to convince people that eating bugs is okay to do now. I keep hearing that pop up now. They're trying to get us to eat bugs. You know,
look, man, I'm not John the Baptist. I don't want to eat no roach.
Right. I ain't eat no roach, no grasshoppers, nothing like that. Ugh.
I don't care how much honey you put on a spider. I don't want it.
That's right. I just thinking about the crunchiness in your mouth. I know that thing is dead, but you're crunching on it, and man.
No, it's not even that. The legs are still gonna be squirming and stuff. Ugh.
Well, I'll be eating it if it's dead.
I think I'd rather walk up to a tree, pull some leaves off a tree, and start eating it than eat a bug.
Be like a Hakuna Matata. Ugh. Yeah. I ain't doing that. Ugh, my goodness. Yeah, but anyway, I decided to do the stream because taking a break from working on the cartoon, and it's Christmas Eve, so I'm gonna head over to some family members' house tomorrow.
Are we gonna get any more action scenes in the next episode? Like I remember you you had Veckel had a combat scene. I can't remember what episode it was. I watched it a while ago with some
That
of the
was
New World
episode
Order.
11. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
episode
you
11.
gonna have any more of that?
No, and as much as I would love to, it would just, if I did that with this final episode, it would just feel forced, and people would be able to see right through it. So I'm just letting the story take its own toll, and but there will be action in this scene, that's for sure. I mean, in this episode, there will be action. The Christ is returning, and you're probably very familiar with the passage that talks about him going to war against the nations, by speaking a word.
Oh, so you're gonna have the Battle of Armageddon?
Pretty much. It's going to be. See, this is why I went through several people and got their advice, and I said I want to stick close to what's in Scripture. So, but at the same time, I want to add a little bit extra to make it more exciting and entertaining. And I finally came to the point where I'm just going to have to stick with my convictions and just stick with as close to what I see in Scripture as possible. Because I was looking for a part where it says that the saints are fighting against the demons and stuff, and none of that is in Scripture at all. That's just something that that's extra biblical. People talks about all the time in movies and stuff. We do know that when Christ returns, he's coming with the saints, but there's nothing in Scripture that says that the saints will be going to war against the demons and that kind of thing. And we see that in films all the time. And so I was looking specifically for that when I was writing episode 12. I was like, oh man, I want to do this bad, but let me just make sure I can stick close to what's in Scripture. And I looked and I looked and I looked, and I found nothing. It's just the saints coming with him back to earth, and that's all we hear from him. That's it. And we see Jesus speaking a word and destroying the nations that are coming against him with one word, or with the sword of the word, as it says in Zechariah.
Yeah, the sword of his mouth. Yeah,
the sword of his mouth, right? And that's so I'm definitely putting that in the film, in the episode. So it's basically just Jesus by himself against these nations. So I am going to spruce things up a little bit, making a little bit more entertaining, take some artistic liberty, and put some entertainment value there. So you'll see a little bit of superhero type of stuff with Jesus versus the armies and stuff. But it's going to be kind of short because he's God. I mean,
I got a question though. Are you gonna include the judgment too, like the Great White Throne and all that?
I haven't put that. Well, I got something close to it in there, so I don't want to spoil it. But you will see the devil get judged, though. The Antichrist get judged. So,
cool.
And I suspect that there'll probably be. There's going to be a lot of criticism. I'm expecting, but that's the way it goes whenever you expose yourself to the world. It's particularly on the internet. Somebody is always going to criticize you. So that you just got to get thick skin and just realize this is the type of world that you're wanting to get involved in. So you got to expect it. So not everybody's going to agree with you on everything. So, and I'm expecting that to be the case with episode 12 too. People are going to see something like, oh, okay, well, this is supposed to happen after the rapture, or this is supposed to happen before the rapture. This is a premillennial, amillennial position that you're exposing in the cartoon, blah, 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 blah. We're going to see all kinds of people having, eschatological differences and stuff. So I don't know. But like I said, can't please everybody. As long as I'm sticking to what the Scripture says, the rest is all kind of gray area or up for debate, that kind of thing. Do we see Jesus going against the nation with the sword of his mouth? Yes. So no matter what side you're on of eschatology, you can't disagree that this is in the Scripture. We do see it. The question is, at what time does that event happen? That's where people might disagree. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, unless you're a full preterist, it all happened already.
Right. This cartoon definitely does not.
Return. We're in the new heavens and the new earth.
How funny would it be if I would actually throw in a little snippet of a full preterist saying, "Oops," and when they see Christ returning, like, "Oops, my bad," and nobody would get the joke except for people who know what preterism is, Yeah, that'd be funny. There was another thing I was planning on putting. There is a funny line in there that the Antichrist has when he speaks to Jesus. I could probably throw this out there. It's not too much of a spoiler. But there's a scene in there where the Antichrist is facing Jesus. They're getting ready to battle, but they're just kind of facing each other right now. Like they're like 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 several yards away from each other. And the Antichrist says to him, "Oh, you finally made it. You finally made it back to Earth." He says, "Are you sure you're done with the rapture? You still left a lot of Catholics here." So he's gonna say something like that. There's still Catholics here. I don't know if you're finished with the rapture, that kind of thing. So, there's a little bit of levity there with with the situation there. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm
Well,
trying my best.
There's some people that believe that the Catholic Church itself is the Antichrist.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I try to give emphasis. I touch on that in episode 6, actually, of the cartoon. So people, when the false prophet makes his appearance, everybody thinks that he's the Christ. Especially the Catholics, they think that he's the return of Christ. Yeah. But then, he's the false prophet. He's not the Antichrist. So hey,
I think the false prophet will probably be a pope.
Oh yeah, you probably know about the Pope's recent declaration, right? That he's going to
where
bless.
they'll be conducting gay marriages now and stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I think a lot of Catholics are not too happy about that. Hey, I'll be right back. I gotta step away for a second. Be right back. I'm back. I love listening to that music sometimes when it's cold, so I can get in my mode of denial and cope. So because I'm not a fan of the winter time, so I don't know. But so far it's Christmas Eve and I'm in New York State, and we haven't been hit with any snow this week. So, and I think it's supposed to be just rainy tomorrow in the city that I'm in. So, which is good. Usually around this time we'll get no snow until Christmas Day, and then it'll just plop all over everywhere. But I don't think that's going to be the case in my neck of the woods. So, and Kevin, you and I are both in the same city. So,
well, we had a green Christmas last year too, I think.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Yeah, we had a green Christmas. I think it was Syracuse that actually gets it first. Sometime they usually get it first. I wouldn't be surprised if they got some snow tomorrow.
Bro,
So-
Buffalo always gets snow raped.
Yep, they do. I remember one year we literally had to borrow snow from them. Like we sent trucks out there because we had a special event in front of the Blue Cross Arena, and there needed to be snow, but there was no snow in our town, so they had to send trucks to Buffalo and bring them back here, so we can get piles of snow, so people can turn those piles of snow into a big hill for kids to slide on and stuff like that. So I said that's kind of sad, isn't it? I don't know, but I'm looking forward to taking my daughter snow sledding this year. Yeah, she's looking forward to it.
I don't go sledding anymore. I remember back in the 90s when I was a kid.
Yeah.
My mother, my father, and me and my sisters went with a good friend of my parents. Her name was Shirley, and her husband's name was Rob. He passed away a few years ago. And we were going sledding, and there was this huge hill, and Shelly was on one of those circular type of sleds.
Yeah.
And she hit a huge bump, went way up in the air, and came down and broke her back.
Ooh.
And
Like
to this
broke
day,
her
she
back?
still can't, yeah, broke her back. To this day, she still can't walk.
Oh man. That's well, thank you for telling you now. Keep an eye out for that the next time we go. I don't
Because
want that to
those
happen.
little saucer type sleds, they pick up a lot of speed and they get really slick, especially if the snow's been packed down. And if you hit like a hill or something, you can get some serious airtime on them things.
Oh yeah. Place in that I would go to.
I know what park you're talking about.
Yeah, man. Huge hill. Huge
Yeah,
hill.
I know. I played disc golf there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Near the reservoir. Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Woo-wee. I'm surprised I've never slid out into the street from man. But I've done it many times, and so far I haven't gotten enough momentum to slide all the way out into the street. But I was playing, but I did hit a bump there once, man, and I just got the wind knocked out of me when I landed. I said, "Whoa!" I didn't even see the bump, because from your depth of field or the perspective, you can't really see, or you see a lot of lumpiness, but you can't really tell which one is a big lump until you hit it. And then so I hit it.
Yeah.
I was in the air for like maybe a second or so, and then bam, landed on my back, and I was like, huh, like somebody just drop kicked me in the belly, and I was just like sliding down on my back, trying to.
Man, if you hit a tree, it's over too.
Oh yeah, you want to go out like Tony Danza, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I almost hit a tree once. It's kind of slid a little too far to the left, and went to the woody area there. At that time, though, I just if I see it, I'm going too close to danger, I just roll off the slide and just try to, stop myself. So, in fact, when I take my daughter, I'm gonna make sure we go to someplace not too high, but bigger than what she went to the last time. So I think she'll have fun.
Yeah, just
right.
Be careful, man, because a good time can turn into a nightmare.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I'll
be careful. My mom's feeling, I'm sure she was just expecting to have a good time with the family. She wasn't expecting not to be able to walk the rest of her life.
And it's all because of that, right? Because of that.
Yeah, she had no medical problems before that. She just landed wrong, and her back snapped, and it was over.
Oh man.
But I guess she got some serious height on that thing.
Man, she must have been going. Yeah. I guess going really fast and
if you go down like a really steep hill, and like you get enough speed, that snow's been packed down because people have been sledding down this thing all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it smooths it out.
You get like a little thing on the form at the end from all the packed snow, and you just hit it just right. You're easily up in the air like 6-7 feet, and you're just crashing down all that weight. Man, it's over.
Right. Yeah. Any idea how high she went up?
Bro, I don't know, man. She got at least a few feet, at least 4 or 5 feet off the ground.
Yeah, had to if you broke your back. Yeah, it landed that hard, man. Yeah.
Right.
Oof, man. Sound like she might have fell off a cliff or something, like a tiny cliff, or she was really that high up in the air. Oh man,
it was a pretty steep hill. It wasn't towards the bottom that got her, because like where the hill was starting to meet the ground, there was something there that she got lift and she flew, man.
Oh man. Eesh.
And boom, over.
Did you witness this?
I was young. I don't remember it. I remember going sledding with them before, but I think it was the next year. I wasn't there. It happened.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I was real young. It was early 90s, man.
Right. Eesh. Well, how's she doing now?
She was in a wheelchair for a while, but she has a what do you call that thing? Not crutches. She's got like an old person, like a walker, and she can kind of take baby steps, but she still can't walk.
Oh, okay. Definitely put that in prayer for sure. Now.
Yeah, and this happened like 30 years ago.
What about her spirits? Like she's in good spirits though? Or?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know her that well. It was my mother's friend, and since that happened, she didn't really come around much anymore. Because she used to hang out with my mom.
Right.
I have no idea. Her husband passed away a few years ago too, and so I have no idea how she's doing. I should probably ask my mom how she's doing, because last time my mom talked about her was a couple of years ago, and she said she still couldn't walk.
Ah, okay. Peace. Yeah, goes to show you never know what's the future what lies in store for the future for you, man.
There's a Christmas movie. Was it the Griswold Family Vacation, where one of them went down on like a metal pot, like a saucer, and it was like greased up, like they put butter or something on the bottom of it, and they showed him flying past the hill, and he was going through the whole town and everything.
I don't know. I've seen the Christmas Vacation one only once, so I can't remember if that was in that movie. It does sound familiar what you're describing, though. I just couldn't remember where I've seen something like that. So it's been a while, and I'm glad you mentioned Christmas films. I would like to actually personally take this time to recommend a film for people to see. Let me see if I can find the trailer for it on YouTube. Because you guys you've heard of the movie called The Christmas Story.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
That movie is great.
Yeah, this is a cult classic film that's always played every year for 24 hours during Christmas Day.
Do they still do that? I remember growing up, and they used to play it on TNT 24 hours. Do they still do that?
I don't know. I haven't paid any attention to TNT in a while.
Yeah, I stopped watching TV, bro. When I got my hands on the internet, I don't need TV no more.
I know, right? Seriously, that's where it is, man. But here's a film that I highly recommend for people, like, let's say you're between the late 30s and maybe 50. You grew up with the Super Nintendo, the 8-bit. This movie is kind of like a more modern version of The Christmas Story, but except it's taking place during the 80s when the Super Nintendo came out. It's called
Becco, hold up. Have you heard that there's a sequel to The Christmas Story? Someone told me that, and I still haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I actually watched that last year. It's actually not bad. It's actually pretty interesting.
What's it called?
It's called what is it called? Christmas Story? A Christmas Story Christmas, I think it's called. Hold on a second. Sequel.
And is it the same actor that played the child Ralphie from the first one?
Yep, it's the same actor, except he's older now. He's got kids.
I gotta watch that. I gotta see it.
Yeah, it's called A Christmas Story Christmas.
All right, thanks. I'll have to gar that later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. That's how I caught it. Hi. Yeah. So it's called The Christmas Story Christmas. He looks exactly the same except the wrinkles here. He's older. Got the same glasses. They do a little bit of flashbacks. And it's not as when you see the trailer, you think, oh man, this looks kind of corny. But then I watched it anyway, and I was like, I was entertained. I enjoyed it. Yeah. So I would recommend it. If you like the Christmas Story, you might like the sequel, Christmas Story Christmas. Now here's one that I would suggest watching if you like video games, and also you could kind of relate to what this kid went through when the Nintendo was first released. So it's a story about a kid who wants to get a Nintendo for Christmas, right? And man, I just love this movie. I'm probably gonna watch it again soon. I'm gonna play the trailer. Hopefully, I won't get dinged for it, but who knows? We'll see what happens. So here's the trailer. You guys know? Oh, actually, you know what? Let me do this because I actually do want to share the audio for this. Oh, the audio is already being shared, so that's good. So it's always on automatically. Okay, that's good. All right, you guys know what to do. Hook up a brother and let me know if you can hear nothing. And away we go.
Every kid has that one gift they want more than anything for Christmas. This is the story of mine.
Bookends? They have baseballs on them. I see that.
No, not those. Nintendo. A maze of rubber wiring and electronic intelligence so advanced it was deemed not a video game, but an 8-bit entertainment system.
No Nintendo in my house.
I second that.
Looks like a no-go on Nintendo.
I needed a Christmas miracle. The year was 1987, or was it 88? Super Bowl was in 86.
Okay, does it really matter, Dad?
Okay. The year was the late 80s. I was 11 years old.
Did you wear a helmet?
Yeah, we always wore helmets.
Final countdown.
Me and my friends would do anything just to play one.
Any of you huddle masters want to play? What have you brought me?
I got a goldfish!
Untraceable cash money!
It's the final countdown.
One thing became clear. I needed to get my own.
This is bigger than Christmas.
The final countdown.
This is our Vietnam.
I don't think that means what you think it means.
I have no idea what it means. We're gonna get in so much trouble.
Sometimes during Christmas, just when you think that all hope is lost, something magical happens.
Sold out in 20 minutes. Suddenly, one woman punched her grandma right in the throat. Same family, too.
Are you making all this up?
No way.
Did you guys hear in the race selling contest?
First prize is a brand new Nintendo Entertainment System.
I'm gonna kill you!
Hold on.
I love that big kid. He is funny in this.
There are no rules. That Nintendo's mine.
What do you want?
Want to buy a wreath?
Ma! This kid thinks your wreath sucks!
Video games have been doing all kinds of strange things to children.
What?
It was the 80s. Stuff got real.
Red Dog, this is Bluebird. This is Rainbow 1. What happened to Red Dog? I changed it. We're allowed to change names now. This is Millennium Falcon. Super cool. Woo! Love it.
Rated PG.
That looks like something I'd watch.
Yeah. I love the movie, man. It was a lot of fun. It's got a lot of heart in it. And it brought me back to my childhood too, man, because I'm a gamer as well. And when the Nintendo Super System, whatever you call it, came out, I wanted it just as bad as everybody else did. And even when the Sega Genesis the Sega came out, I didn't have one, but I knew a friend of mine who had one. And all I could think about was finding out a way to get over to his house just so I could see him play, so I could see the graphics. And man, I remember that so much, man. Gosh, I was like, can I come over your house? Can I spend the night? You know, we used to spend the night at each other's house all the time. That was something we used to do back in the day. You know, I know the kids.
I used to be friends with a kid that had the Sega channel, and we used to play all the games on the Sega channel.
The Sega channel. I forgot about that. What? Wait, how did that work? The Sega channel.
So it was basically primitive internet access. It was like this little thing you hooked into your Sega, and you screwed it into your phone jack.
Yep. I remember that. Okay.
Yeah, and you just played all these games on there. It was like a subscription. You paid for it monthly, and you had like access to the entire Sega library on there. It's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh! And this is before YouTube.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we're talking maybe 1998, 98.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah, the Sega channel. Yeah.
Bro, I remember that game Comic Zone. I was infatuated with the way that game looked because it literally looked like a comic book, and I was like, dude, this is dope. I remember I tried playing it. I could not get very far. That game was so hard. It was like the hardest beat 'em up game I've ever played.
What's it called? Comic Zone?
Comic Zone, yeah. Look it up. Look at Comic Zone and tell me as a kid that grew up like loving comic books, this game is not epic, appealing. Like
Comic Zone. All right, let me see. If
the Comic Zone on Sega Genesis.
All right. This is the long play of Comic Zone here. Let's see what this looks like.
Leo, we're all here for you, boy.
Got these trailers, commercials now.
Test 1, 2.
Sega. Is this it?
Yeah.
Okay. I never heard of this game.
It's cool that you're literally playing on comic book panels.
Oh wow! I would have loved this game.
It's really hard, dude. And then when you complete an area, you go to the next. You jump to the next panel.
Right. Oh, you hear it? Is it? And then page turns and superhero meter. Look at that. Ha ha. I would have liked this game. I've never heard of this game until today. See, all these 2D.
This game like called out the nerd in me. I was like, oh, I gotta play this.
Yeah, I was just talking about Spider-Man 2 earlier for the PS5, man. What a great game that was. Let me see. Let me look at some old games. Let's see. I think Shinobi's coming out with a new game. Let's see if people remember this. Yeah, here's Shinobi. Can you? Yeah. This is old school.
Oh, Beckel, fun fact. I broke my TV playing Ninja Gaiden. It pissed me off so bad I punched the top of my old floor model wooden TV and the picture tube gave out. My dad gave me a whooping.
Right, that reminds me of what a friend of mine I was in the army with. He actually purchased a Dreamcast when it first came out. This dude had it for less than 3 days, and then it was destroyed. And I said, dude, I was about to come over to your dorm to play. What happened to it? He said, oh, I elbow dropped it. I said, dude,
that is so funny you said that, bro. No joke, man. I had a Dreamcast and I had Grande 2 for it. And one night, my dad, he was sitting there drinking his Tall Boys and Molson Triple X's. He went to get up off the couch and he stumbled and fell on the Dreamcast and broke it.
But that was by accident, right?
Yeah, because his balance was off because he'd been drinking them Tall Boys all night.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, well, this guy was a little bit of a weirdo, and he told me that because he got tired of doing the old Super Nintendo thing, taking the disc out, blowing it, and so he found himself doing the same thing with the Dreamcast, taking the disc out because the game kept freezing and stopping, and so he kept cleaning the disc. He's blowing in the inside of the machine, put the disc back in, it was still messing up, and finally he just got mad and ripped the disc out, frisbeed it across the room, and then elbow dropped the machine. Yeah, I wasn't there when it happened, but that's what he told me what he did. I was like, I just started laughing about. I said, "Wait, you just got the machine?" He said, "Yeah, I know." He's a little bit of a weirdo, anyways. And he just had this. It was like nothing. Like he wasn't upset or anything. He's just, yeah, I just got rid of it. Like, oh
Rebecca,
man,
what's the hardest game you've ever beat?
the hardest game I ever beat. Oh my goodness, I want to say it's either Contra or Earthworm Jim. One of those two.
Which Contra did you beat? Which one?
I don't even remember which one it was. I've only played it maybe one time. Well, I mean, after I beat it.
What console was it on?
It was on one of the Nintendo games. I want to say this one. I want to say it was.
Okay, so the regular NES had Contra and Contra 2, and then Super NES had Contra 3 Alien Wars. They're all hard.
Yeah, they were all hard. I think I beat one of them though. I think so. Or either that, or I might be misremembering. Maybe I watched somebody else beat it. I don't remember, but I do remember Contra is definitely at the top of one of the hardest games I've ever played.
Oh yeah.
I
never beat any of the Contra games. I tried. I'd sit there and play for hours though. It was so hard, but I had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. There's another game that I played not too long ago called the Cuphead. I love the graphics on that game because it's like you're playing a real cartoon, but the gameplay is, oh man, it is tough. And my daughter actually watched me play the game, and it's absolutely insane. Here's what the game looks like. Well, not that, but I gotta wait for this trailer. So, but more, is this another commercial? I have to get one of these. Okay, let's see. All right, here's the game. So this is the actual game. The beginning of the game starts off like this. Cartoon. Hey, Boobos, remember this game, Cuphead? Remember? Yeah. Oh, this is a review. Somebody's watching it. Okay. Well, let's show you the gameplay. So this is the gameplay right here. So it literally looks like a cartoon, like an old,
like a Warner Brothers cartoon.
Yeah, like an old 1940s cartoon. And that's why I was so attracted to this game. But it's hard, man. It's not easy. I mean, you can beat it, but then, when you get up to a higher level, my goodness, man, you got to have some wit on you. Yeah, you got to be on your game. You got to be very, very attentive to a lot of things, man, because you got all kinds of objects flying around you that you can't touch, and other objects that you have to shoot. It's insane. Now this is different because I don't remember there being a female cup that you had to play. It's usually just this character here that you see here, and his brother, which is he wears the blue shorts. So, but now they got a little girl that I guess you look like you can choose too. So, but and that's all they do. They just they do, like, they snap their fingers and some energy comes from there. Look at all these things you got to jump over. You either got to jump over them or you jump on top of them or shoot them.
Is it like Mario where there's like a stage or a level first before you fight a boss?
Yeah. Yep. It's your stereotypical platform game. And I love it, man, because I just love, as a cartoonist myself, man, I just love that the graphics look like this. Like they look like a real cartoon. They don't look computer what I mean? Like they don't look like CGI. I mean, it looks like it was actually hand drawn. And and that's what I love about it. So all right. So this is the game that I'm familiar with. I just don't remember this character. I've only seen the 2 characters that you could play. So was whoever this guy is, he's playing the beginning of the game. So he's very early in the game. And it gets much, much harder than this. Much harder than this. So it's insane. But I actually like this game. I actually like this game a lot. Yeah. So very, very fun game. Yeah.
See how it has like a Super Mario World influence where you're like walking to the different levels?
Right. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, most of these platform games they remind you of the Mario Brothers world. Isn't there a recent, there's a more new modern, not modern, but a new Super Mario game that just came out? Let me see. New Super Mario. What was it? New Super Mario? It was 6 months ago. Oh yeah, this what it is. It's Mario Brothers Wonder. This is it. I'm sure Nintendo won't mind me playing this video. Oh wow. It looks fun. I like Mario. I was never really too big into Mario. But it's always fun. I always found it fun. Okay, yeah. So it came out back in October. Yeah. So definitely want to check that out for sure. I'm probably gonna wrap things up, but first I started off talking about Spider-Man, promoting how great I think this game is. I just finished beating the game last night, and man, I had so much fun with this game. What a fun game it was. Action packed, great story. I mean, the story writing is what made it even better. The story, the acting. I mean, it was all around. Great.
I love the first one. The first one was my favorite PS4 game.
Yeah. Yep. I love all 3 of the games. You know, the first Spider-Man, and then the Miles Morales game. That was a good one.
I don't count the Miles Morales one as a game. It's more like a DLC. It doesn't feel like it's really short.
Yeah, it felt like a DLC. Actually, it did. Yeah. But here's the trailer. I hope they don't mind. But hey, I'm bringing attention to it. Okay. Let me get it. You got a PS5, man. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
We have to talk. This is something else. I need your help. Are you sure this isn't something you can handle yourself? I'm sure. Miles, this is crazy! We call it a symbiote, and it chose you. Get it off of him! Ready for your annual physical? I'm the hero here, not you. What the hell's going on with Pete?
You're not yourself.
You want to join us?
He's here.
Fuck down the whole building!
I know I can snap him out of this.
We can fight this together!
I highly recommend, man. If you like movies, I know I'm going to right now. If you like movies and in particularly you like superhero films, you're going to like this game. I mean, this game is probably the most cinematic fun I've had with the superhero genre I've had since Endgame. I mean, again, like I said, Spider-Man feels like Spider-Man. The acting is great. The story is great. There are a couple of tear-jerking moments there. It's an all-around fun game. I highly recommend it, man. It's probably my favorite game. Well, it's my first game on the PS5. I just got the PS5 2 weeks ago, so it's my first game on this console, and it'll probably be my favorite. So, but we'll see. We'll see. But oh man, what a lot of fun! What a lot of fun. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up. So I just wanted to take a break from working on the cartoon and get some discussion out there. But yeah, but anyway, Kevin, thanks for coming by, man. Did you have anything that you wanted to say? Anything before you head out?
Yeah, Merry Christmas, and 'tis the season to be jolly. Christ is the reason for the season. God became man, and he was perfectly submissive and obedient to the Father. He bore our sins upon himself on the cross, and he rose again 3 days later. And we're all sinners that deserve death, but he offers us everlasting life if you just put your faith in him and what he did. Catch you next time.
Amen. Thank you so much for that, man. Appreciate that. Gospel is of utmost importance, man. We talk about these games and all these other things here. And I praise God that God allows us to have these opportunities to enjoy these kinds of things. But, what good are these things if God doesn't exist? If God doesn't allow us to have fun with these kinds of things, And that brings me to, let me just talk about the gospel real quick before I, get on out of here. Let's see. I got something I would like to share here. Okay, so the gospel, I've talked about the gospel before on my previous channel. And we all know what the gospel is, right? So let's see what I remember here. The gospel, talk about Jesus Christ here, sent by God himself. God himself, he's without sin. He died for sinners and he rose from the grave. This is essentially what the gospel of Jesus Christ is. And we know that he was sent by God. We got Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6, John chapter 1, verse 18, John 3:16, John 17:3, 1 John 4, 9 and 10, Hebrews chapter 2, verse 9. All these passages that talk about how God sent the Son. Jesus, the Son, was sent by God the Father to be the propitiation for our sins. The other aspect of the gospel is that Jesus is God. Yes, 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 yes. Why is this important, folks? Because Jesus had to be perfect in order for him to be the propitiation for our sins. Because God was utilizing the atonement in the same fashion that he commanded the Israelites to do under the old covenant. Whenever they performed a burnt offering, the animal that they had to use had to be without any blemish, no broken leg. It can't be sick. It can't have anything physically wrong with it, not even the slightest ailment. It had to be 100% perfect and healthy. And in the same way, Jesus was exactly like that, which is why he was the only one worthy for this sacrifice, because he was without sin. How do we know that he was without sin? Well, we got all kinds of passages here. First of all, John talks about him being with the Word and being with God, and him being the Word, and calling him and God the same, one and the same. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, were made by him, were made by him. Who's the him? Talking about Christ. All things were made by Christ. And this is validated in Colossians chapter 1, verses 15 through 17. And without him, that's Christ, was not anything made that was made. So wait a minute. If Jesus is not God, then why is John saying this blasphemous stuff about him? Well, obviously, John is not being blasphemous when he said this, because he's telling us the truth about the nature of this Christ. That he is God. He is the one who created all things. And without him was not anything made that was made. He goes on in verse 4. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. This is an awful lot of praise for just a mere human being, a person who allegedly might have sinned every once in a while. No. That's not the case, folks. Jesus is God. He was without sin. And you can only speak this way about one who has the nature of Almighty God. You can't speak like this about anybody else. You just can't. John 1:14 says, and the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. Right here is telling you that the Word that was spoken of in John 1:1 became flesh. It says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And it's saying that same Word created all things. And without him, none of these things that are created were made. And who is that him? It's talking about the Word. The Word who is also called God. But it also says here in verse 14 that same Word who is also called God was made flesh. And he dwelt among us. Who is this talking about? None other than the Christ himself. None other than the Christ himself. This is the only person who fits this category. John 8:24. I said therefore unto you that you shall die in your sins. For if you believe not that I am he, you shall die in your sins. Who's saying this? This is Jesus. And why is he saying I am? What's the significance of saying I am? Big deal. Everybody says I am. So what? Who cares? No. There is a major significance with him saying this, folks. He's saying I am because he's equaling him. He's making himself equal to the Father, to God. He's calling himself I am. He's identifying as the same person that was in the burning bush confronting Moses. Okay. Here's John 8:28. Then said Jesus unto them, when you have lifted up the Son of Man, then shall you know that I am he, and that I do nothing of myself, but as my Father hath taught me, I speak these things. In verse 58, Jesus said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am. There he is saying, I am again. What is he doing? Jesus is saying it 3 times. He said it 3 times, who he is. He says, I am. That burning bush that revealed himself as I am to Moses, known as Yahweh, is the same one that's speaking here. And what was the result? Well, people wanted to kill him. Yes. Hey, just wait. I'm almost done. Matthew 1:23. Behold, a virgin shall be with child and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us. Amen. Maybe we'll do another whole study about that word Emmanuel some other time. But it's very important and pertinent since this is Christmas. This is Christmas Eve. We're talking about the birth of Christ. And tomorrow, maybe I'd like to do another stream about the virgin birth, actually, so we can give some emphasis on that. Isaiah 53:9 says, He made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was there any deceit in his mouth. So now here we got emphasis on the absolute moral perfection of the Christ, which is why it's important for him to be God in the flesh. I mean, why it's important to know why we say that he's God in the flesh. This is one of the reasons why we declare this to be, because there's only one that's morally perfect, and that's God himself. Okay? There's only one that's nobody in the history of the Bible has been declared as such. We got Job in Job chapter 1 is saying that he was perfect. Wait. Perfect does not mean morally perfect. Perfect just means that he was in a regular right standing with God, and he was a very rich person. So he was complete, but he was not morally perfect. How do we know this? Because all you got to do is just read the last few chapters of Job and see how he's crying out and he's starting to complain to God and stuff like that. And then God had to criticize him for at least 3 chapters, asking him a whole bunch of questions. Like, where were you when I did this? Where were you when I did this? You crybaby. You know? And understandably so, we can understand as a human, we can understand why Job might have gone to that level. You know, he lost his children, he lost his livestock, he got boils on his skin. You know, he lost everything except his screeching, nagging wife. So you can understand, you can kind of sympathize with Job complaining. But the fact of the matter is, he wasn't perfect either. In fact, he even admitted it, I think, in chapter, I forget what chapter. He says, if I say that I'm perfect, then I speak with lying lips or something like that. I speak with perverse lips. So even Job was not perfect. Okay? Daniel, even though there's no record of Daniel committing a sin, however, we see in Daniel chapter 9, he's praying to God and asking God for forgiveness. For what? For his sins. Even though we don't have any record of any sin that he's committed, but he's still asking God for forgiveness. Why would you ask God for forgiveness of something you've never done? Okay? So again, all that to say that, again, Jesus is the only one who was perfect, who was morally perfect, who was without sin. Again, 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 21 says, for he hath made him to be sin for us who knew no sin. Who knew no sin. Again, more emphasis on Christ being morally perfect. He was without blemish. There was no sin in him. He never committed a sin. Here's another one. Hebrews 9:14. How much more shall the blood of Christ, who through this eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to God, purge your conscience from the dead works to serve the living God. To serve the living God? Let me read that again, because it's supposed to be in the form of a question. How much more shall the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to God, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living God? See right here, emphasis of Jesus Christ being morally perfect, without spot to God. There was no spot. The spot talking about moral perfection there. He did not commit any sin. He didn't lie. He didn't commit any murder. He didn't hit anybody. He didn't do any stupid stuff. Okay, 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 19. But with the precious blood of Christ as a lamb without blemish and without spot. And again, more emphasis on the moral perfection of the Christ. He never sinned. Here's two more. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 22. Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. Again, same thing. John 8:46. Which of you convinceth me of sin? So now here he's challenging people. Which one of you can show me that I've sinned? Which one of you can prove to me that I've sinned? It's a rhetorical question because he knows no one can do it. At least not without lying about it anyway. So Christ was without blemish. And again, going back to emphasis, in case you guys want to pause the video, look at all the verses that talk about Old Testament sacrifices that had to be without blemish. This is where we get this concept that Christ, in order for him to be the propitiation, the efficacious propitiation for our sins, he had to be without blemish, following the example of what we see in the burnt offerings in the Old Testament. So there you go. The other part of the gospel is that Jesus died for sinners. Yes, he died, folks. Without his death, there is no resurrection. If there's no resurrection, then there's no propitiation for our sins. 1 Peter 3:18. 1 John 3:16. Christ died. John 19, verse 30 and 31. Christ died. He's put upon the cross. The other aspect of this his work is that he rose from the grave. Jesus rose from the grave. That is extremely important, folks. That is extremely important. If you don't believe in the resurrection, then you are not a Christian. And I challenge anybody who calls himself a Christian that denies this to come into this room and to prove me wrong. You are not going to heaven if you deny this. You are not going to be with the Father if you deny this. Hey. Shh. Here's all the verses. I'm not going to read them all because I'm trying to rush so I can get out of here. 1 Corinthians 15, 3 and 4. 1 Corinthians 15, verses 12 through 14. Jesus rose from the grave. Matthew chapter 28, verses 5 through 6. Mark chapter 16, verse 9. Jesus rose from the grave. Luke chapter 24, verses 45 and 46. Jesus rose from the grave. John chapter 20, verses 1 all the way to 10. We're not going to read all that. John chapter 20, verse 7 through 10. Jesus rose from the grave. Extremely important, folks. Jesus is the only way. Not Buddha, not Muhammad, not your mama, not your daddy, not your cousin, not your daughter, not your son, not your brother, not your sister. Jesus is the only way. Yes, Jesus is the only way. Yes. My daughter's looking at me with her lip poked out. What do you mean Jesus is the only way? What about me? No, you can't save souls. Only God can save souls. And don't pull that cord out because I'm talking right now. Anyway, here we go. Okay. You have a blessed day too, man. Okay. That's the Dan. He said, God bless everyone. Let's finish this off real quick. Jesus is the only way. Acts chapter 4, verse 12, John 14:6, 1 Timothy 2:5. Jesus is the only way. John 8:24, John 11:25 to 26, Acts chapter 16, verses 30 to 31. And you guys want to copy these down, you can pause the video, obviously, and write these notes down if you want. Romans chapter 10, verses 9 through 13. Jesus is the only way. Romans chapter 6, verse 23. 1 Corinthians 8:6. 1 John 2, verse 22 and 23. And 1 John chapter 5, verse 11 through 12. Again, so we got all these passages. Jesus is the only way. Jesus died on the cross. Jesus rose from the grave. Jesus is God. And Jesus was without sin. That's the gospel, folks. The gospel is that Jesus died on the cross for sinners. And if you have your faith and trust in him as Messiah, then you will be saved, according to Romans chapter 10 and several other passages in Scripture. You place your faith and trust in Jesus Christ, believe that he died on the cross and that he rose from the grave, and through him and him alone, not of your good works. It's not about you being a good person. It's not about you going to church. It's not about you studying or reading your Bible. It's not about any of those things. You should do those things, yes, but that's not what gets you to heaven. What gets you to heaven is solely and only the efficacious work of Jesus Christ on the cross and the grace of God. Through faith. Through faith. So, with that said, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Bye. My daughter can't wait to say bye-bye, bye-bye. But anyway, you guys have a merry... Why did that pop up on the screen? That should be on the screen. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for popping up on the screen. Popping up in the stream. Appreciate it. I will definitely work harder to keep you guys updated for the episode 12. Yes. Let's say Merry Christmas together at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Merry Christmas. Happy gingerbread. Okay. And with that, you guys know I say the thing all the time. Whether therefore you drink, or whether therefore you eat or drink or whatsoever you do all to the glory of God. 1 Corinthians 10:31. Thank you guys, and God bless.
Cookie. I want cookie.